I could have sworn you said someone can DoorDash me a bowl full of cocaine.
Okay, we're live now, so.
No,
Oh,
that's you.
we just
That's
caught
you,
there.
Mr. Dude. I can imagine all that cocaine powder in your beard. Come on, man.
Scarface
Of
2.
course, you take a hit of cocaine, you'd probably start acting normal.
No, was it
You
Butters
missed
from
it.
South Park? No, was it Butters from South Park that said, "Hey my brother, what is up?"
Um,
Was it that?
It always makes me think of. I don't know if you remember this, the John Larroquette show.
we don't know, Lane, to answer your question.
Yeah, we don't know, but I remember.
John Larroquette? Of course, no John Larroquette.
Okay, he had his own sitcom called the John
Yeah,
Larroquette
he did.
Show,
I love that show.
and
Mhm.
his friend who had been like in recovery or something came in, and his friend was played by Bobcat Goldthwait, of all things, and he came in, he came on, to John Larroquette's work, said, "Hey man, how's it going?" He was wearing a suit, all cleaned up, fresh shaven, hair pulled back. They were like, "Wow, I can't believe your buddy. He's really changed himself." And John Larroquette goes, "Oh my God, he's completely annihilated," or something like his wasted, drunk, stoned, whatever you want to call it, was all cleaned up and normal, not how you think of Bobcat Goldthwait. So
That's a dangerous word around here, normal.
that's true.
I mean,
Them's fighting
no,
Lloyds.
fun trivia fact. Did you know
Uh-oh.
that John Larroquette was the narrator for the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
I heard.
Did
I
not
heard
know
about
that.
that.
No, I didn't know that.
I heard
Yeah.
about that. And did you see him in Twilight Zone the movie?
I don't remember him trying to in the movie.
He was in Twilight Zone the movie. He was in that scene where the character kept jumping from like oppressed people's lives. Like,
That wasn't John Larroquette.
yes, it okay. The one where he popped up in the water and they were like, "Oh, let's go get." Okay, that was
Yeah, I
John
know.
Larroquette holding the hunting dogs. Yes, it was.
Huh.
Huh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And he's very young there. I own the movie, so I've watched it several times. Don't argue. I'm kidding.
Okay. No, I thought you were saying he's one of the main characters.
No. He was in the scene where they were like, "Oh, oh boy, you smell nice. Where'd you get that watch? You steal it?" And he's like, "Wait, what are you talking about?" Because he jumped to like the South in the 50s, Vietnam,
Yeah.
Nazi Germany, the main character.
Yeah.
What else? No, I think that was it.
I'm not sure what else.
But
But I still enjoyed that movie despite the fact that the director practically got away with murder.
oh yeah, he did. He did. John Landis. He did get away with murder. And that movie, what happened is basically what set up child labor laws. Because those
Yeah,
kids should
that's
not
true.
have been out on a movie set at 2 a.m. They were little kids, like 4 or 5. I'm like, oh, that's just no. That's the reason why the Olsen twins on Full House were played by 2 people.
And whenever I think of the Twilight Zone movie, though, I like to think of one of my favorite scenes from it. It's like, hey, want to see something
Oh
scary?
my God, yes.
It's like, he's scary.
Yes. Dan Aykroyd, that was the best.
Okay, we're live and broadcasting, and let's start the show officially now.
Woo! Okay.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
ladies and gentlemen,
Okay.
are you ready for spoken word open mic here at Kickbutt Coffee, all over from our house tonight here in Austin, Texas?
Oh,
Yay.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah,
I'm Ernie B,
yeah.
and here's your host, Hot Tamale, and the lovely
Yeah.
Lost in Thought. Dun dun dun.
The lovely Lost in Thought, who's got his underwear on the back of his couch. He's
We're-
gorgeous.
Yeah, we're
bitch.
not at the venue tonight.
I'm not Will you stop saying
We're
that?
not at the venue tonight. Unfortunately, there was no one available
The
to
bed
work
sheets.
the show tonight at the venue, so we're it's circumstances beyond our control, as they say. So we're doing it from the house like we used to last summer in the midst of COVID.
Remember them days?
And
Oh,
so
yeah.
joining us,
Old school.
as always, is Mr. Tom Moon, Mr. Birdman 313, and Reginald Goodwin.
And Dr. Goodwin.
Dr. Goodwin feature
Hashtag Goodwin 2024.
Goodwin for President 2024.
Dun, 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 dun.
So yeah, so we're live, and
But see, I don't want to say what's happening Kick Butt, so because right now we're not at Kick Butt. So what's happening Spoken and Heard? You're about to witness the best, the baddest open mic in the ATX. Spoken and Heard live every Sunday night, usually at Kick Butt Coffee, Music, and Booze.
Baboons.
That's right. Kick Butt is not your average ordinary coffee shop. They do have a full bar, so when you're there, make sure to show your love to your open mic and always buy something at the bar. Don't go over there and ask them for a cup of water. Come on, people. Don't be cheap. Get a drink. Okay, I had to say that. I had to say that because I know who I'm shouting out to, but I'm not going to say any names. I'm not going to say any initials. Lane's going, yeah, I know. As he fills his beard with Chex Mix.
And those of you who just are tuning in or tuning in the future, we haven't done the show from home in a long time, and I was lucky enough that everything still worked. And
Your sound's cutting out.
is it?
No, it's behind him.
Oh. And anyway, it's working, and we're gonna do what we can here.
Yeah, Ernie B. MacGyvered the studio today out of a paper clip and a gum wrapper. So, way to go, Ernie B. There.
Don't touch me.
He did very good. So, to start out the night, we have the fluffer himself. Give it up for Tom Moonbird.
Oh! Welcome to Austin. Hope you enjoy your parking meter stay. Which part of Austin do you want to have a room in, or half a room, or a little tent city by the side of the highway with a perfect view of the gridlock traffic? Or if you're from California, would you like a high-rise condominium? That's right, we have several parts of the city that are up for rent. High-rise prices, high rates of eviction. And of course, if tent city isn't enough for you by the side of the lake, always remember there's Ghost City of Austin. Tie-dyed Austin from the 60s and 70s, the Armadillo and the Vulcan Gas Company that no longer exist except in the minds of derelict hippies who come looking for the latest drug and find only derelict hippies. This is a personal story of a coffee shop that no longer exists because most of the coffee shops no longer exist. Kick Butt is an exception to the rule, but even tonight it is closed. Once upon a Rudamaya, we welcomed a London poet called Agnes Meadows, who had performed live poetry in Syria and Palestine, who was and remains a well-published and respected poet. This was also in the times of Aaron Sanders, a co-host with Mark Maslow of Rudamaya Poetry. Well, Agnes asked us to raise funds for a cultural youth center. It was to be in Bet Hela, and we all agreed. For poetry needs youth, and youth need poetry. So we stapled an anthology of pro-peace poetry together and dedicated readings as benefits for the Youth Cultural Center of Bet Hela. We raised monies. It was sent directly to Palestine. The building began. It was bombed by Israeli jets into dust. That actually happened because peace is not enough. Reparations are required for the murder of that Palestinian actress by IDF, for the massacre of women and children, for the destruction of homes, schools, and hospitals, for violations of the Geneva Convention. We must re-establish a Nuremberg trial for all war crimes, defund all military, murderous, and incompetent, and hold accountable those who destroyed American media property using American weapons funded by you, American taxpayers. For we are civilians, and civilians are still being slaughtered. One death is one death too many. Let civilians control all military. Let peace culture with reparations and accountability rule. Turn all funding for weapons into cultural centers, housing, vaccines, and healing. Restore the balance from violence to peace. Listen to your Pope, please. He says All slaughters must stop. Welcome to Austin. Don't go yet. The prices are going up.
Woo!
That's it, baby.
All
Thank you so
right,
much.
give it up for Tom Moonbird, who's even
Awesome.
groovy without the Airport Boulevard experience.
So true.
All
So
right,
true.
and if you're just tuning in right now, just letting you know that the people that you see, Tom Moon, Birdman, Reggie Goodwin, they are the spine and the backbone of our virtual spoken and heard stage.
We're with you.
And
We're
they
with
are
you.
from South, okay, respectively, if you're going left to right in a circle, sort of, not counting lane. I don't know how it looks live. Ernie has it look live. Tom Moon is South Austin, I think, if I'm correct.
Yep,
Birdman,
deep South Austin.
Birdman is H-Town. Lane is Runberg Lane. and Dr. Goodwin is from Greensboro, North Carolina. He is the most out of state, yet the grooviest guy you see on there.
Future president.
Yep.
So Mr. Moon, that really happened? They bombed the
Yes. We raised over $1,000 and sent for a cultural center in Palestine, in Gaza, at Bet Hela, and the Israeli jets came in and bombed it to smithereens.
Jeez.
And that was many years ago, and it's repeated now. If you look at the pictures of Gaza now, it's homes and hospitals and places like that are completely destroyed. Markets, they're civilian centers. Those people bombs, they're women and children, and a lot of them are dead now. They don't need to die.
Yeah, they still have the ceasefire right now, right? Because I know they were getting bombed.
Ceasefire now, yes.
Yeah. That's terrible. They took out that news building,
The media center,
yeah,
with American journalists and Al Jazeera. They said, well, of course, Hamas is in it. There was no Hamas in there. They just didn't want people to photograph and film the atrocities of genocide that were happening there. I mean, it's a prison. It's a walled-in prison. It's walls around. 2 million people. And they haven't got water. They haven't got gas. They haven't got anything except despair.
Yeah,
and poetry. They got poetry.
The infrastructure is damaged. Like you said, there's no water.
Absolutely.
They're running water. It's bad over there right now.
Correct.
Even though it is a ceasefire, there's no water. I mean,
yeah,
they're trying to kill
I
him.
saw this video.
They're trying to kill him.
I saw this video of a man holding his youngest. I think the baby was like 2 or 3 years old. The rest of the family, the rest of the kids and the mom were killed in a bombing, and the kid's just barely alive. He's in a coma, and he's just holding his kid, just crying and telling him to wake up, and I'm just, oh my God.
Yeah, all true.
That's the only person in his family that survived, and that messed me up.
Kind of puts things in perspective, and I'm over here bitching about I had to get all this stuff working and stuff, and it's like, it's nothing. It's nothing. It's nothing.
Life and death.
It doesn't.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, whatever we can send to them, we did our best, and then they destroyed civilian culture.
Mm-hmm.
So we are civilian culture, and the people who died are not people with weapons. They're not Hamas. They are women and children.
Yeah, it'd be different if it was like they were attacking a military base or something. But no, it's just they're just people.
Common folk. Just regular, everyday people.
Yep.
All right. Well,
okay. Off of that note,
if you're just joining us, if you would like to read online, sing online, just let us know. Ernie.
Yeah. If you'd like to participate in the show, since we're not at the venue tonight, if you have Skype on your device, if you don't download it,
it's free.
Yeah, it's free. Log into Skype, and then search for Spoken and Heard.
Look for our gorgeous faces.
On the poster. and then you'll see our Spoken and Heard thing there, and just click on that, and then call us, and it'll pop up here, and we'll log you into the show. He said log.
God.
Thank you. I'll be here all night.
All righty, so coming up next to the virtual Spoken and Heard stage, yes, he is the word. It is Birdman. 313.
Hey, Birdman.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, Tom, I got something to tell you. The next time you do that poem about the bad water, put Houston
Yes,
in it. Put
I
Houston
will.
in it.
Bad water in Houston, is it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's just an
Okay.
area
Where?
that's
Okay.
Houston,
uh,
Detroit.
Throw Michigan in there
it's
too.
causing
Man.
cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Flint, of course. Flint,
Yeah,
Michigan.
you got.
But anyway, I guess I'll read two short poems like
Short
I
shit.
always do.
Yep.
Little nuggets. Little nuggets.
Short shit.
Yeah, and this one here is titled Fortitude. Watching the last lights from the sky fade into the horizon over the city. Some holiday lights are still hanging in the darkness. Outdoor dining structures line the streets. Empty storefronts sink into the silent shadows. The city is approaching another lockdown in its eerie quietness. Uncertainty swirls in the air as we begin to cross into a difficult winter and new year. Looking outdoors and through windows as traffic is heavy some days and other days very light. Rain has been coming down on and off for a few days. Zoom open mics have come to a year-end low. Music, comedy, and poetry online have been comforting for maintaining sanity.
Yep.
Trying not to hog time away from other performers who are anxiously waiting to read and get their groove on. Still working on my craft, hoping one day I can perform it in front of a live audience again. Saying thank you to all the hosts of online open mics, shows, and expressing gratitude for all those who show up weekly to participate. Zoom, Webex, Skype, and other online platforms offer a flood of support and encouragement and literally lifted us from near desperation and gave us hope and inspiration. So let's not focus on the many setbacks, wrong turns, or near catastrophes, but instead let us focus on gratitude, blessings, and lessons learned. The good news is we are stronger for the struggles.
Yeah. Well
Yeah.
done. It's still alive.
And this next one is Dreaming of a Fantasy. I will try to help you dry the tears you cry so you don't dwell on the love you've lost. I will try to soothe your soul and mend your heart. The wind blows cold against your skin, but in my arms you feel warm again. Lay your pretty head and body next to me. Go to sleep. Dream sweet, relaxing dreams. Soon your future will start to look bright. Your hopes will once again come alive. One day you will look back on this time. You will no longer cry or be tripping off the edge of the world with the enticement of drugs or the temptations of fools. Chase your dreams through the cold, dark shadows. Explore your psychedelic dreams. Look into your spirit to find tomorrow. The voice of lust and desire that lives in your mind caresses your thoughts of internal desire. Allow the words from the pen of the poet to kiss your heart and set your soul on fire. I had my hands on the box of forevermore. My curious fingers can no longer delay, opening up for free your mind. I want to roam around inside your head and kiss your heart with my warm breath. Leave your body and fly with your spirit. Soar above the heavens and become a goddess in the sky. Catch your dreams and you will shine forever. Tomorrow will not end until you reach the moon. Thank you.
Birdman 313. Give it up for him live from H Town.
I'm actually working on the music here.
See, Ernie B always strives for greatness.
It drives me crazy. I got to do it. I can't just sit here and not have it.
He can't just like I always tell him, he can't just half-ass. He has to use his whole ass.
I have to whole ass it.
Yeah.
Hold on.
And if that's an
Perfectionist.
image that you need to scrub out of your brain with liberal shots of straight liquor,
Not asshole it, whole ass it. Okay, let's see if I open up. Let's see if I open up this prayer here. Let's see. I'm gonna figure this out.
See, I kind of want to say, don't forget about the drink specials. I'm just kind of, I don't want to be on autopilot. And what is that?
Would be pointless.
Okay, yeah. Don't forget about the drink specials. They're in your refrigerator. Go get something. Alrighty. And what has Lane got? One of his set of Burger King cups, right? Let me see. What is it? Oh, it's Popeyes. Oh, my bad.
Popeyes.
Okay, yes, the man has good taste.
I
Yes.
haven't been to Popeyes in a while.
Okay. See, now I just got a taste of their. I just got a taste for their giblet gravy and potatoes. Oh my god.
We had Popeyes the other day, and trust me, it's like, okay, I see why I don't go there.
That's Houston with the bad
It's
water.
The water. Blame the bad bird on the
Go
water.
drink the water.
I usually get like the what are they? The chicken strips?
Or the sandwich.
Yes.
No, I always get the chicken strips and the red beans and rice. I like.
Yes. Hey, Ernie. Hey, that's the same thing I get, the chicken strips and red beans and rice. But this time I got the wings.
Ooh.
And I'm like, this third time I got some in San Antonio, and I'm like, they just don't have no flavor no more.
Oh God,
Mm.
that makes
That's
me
sad.
think of a time when I was living in East Texas, and I was in Kilgore, and I told my ex's grandma, my grandmother-in-law, I said that I was craving some Popeyes. She's like, "Oh, here, take the car." Long black caddy, hell yeah. So I took the car. I went down to Popeyes. So yeah, can I get like a? Oh, there it is.
Can you guys hear that?
No, they didn't.
okay.
No?
And I
No.
Well,
No,
now
the
we
music. I
can.
played the music for a second. Oh, okay,
No,
I
I
see
couldn't
where
hear
it's
the
going.
music.
and I had asked if I could get like I forgot. Do they have it in servings of 8? Ernie, you're messing with me. But anyway, long story short, I went through the drive-through and they ran out of chicken. And people were pissed.
No.
I mean,
What's the point of even
I don't
going
even
then?
know why they were even there. I mean, but I just kind of went, oh well, drove around, and I saw people in the drive-through just. I was like,
At least they weren't killing people like some Popeyes. It was happening when they ran out of chicken sandwich. They were shooting up the place.
I've seen videos like that. You've
Yeah.
seen that famous one where the woman's like crawling through the drive-through thing, and
McDonald's,
nuggets.
yeah.
the manager had to come. Like, what the hell? Like, they had to beat her off. No, they had to beat her out of the
Yeah.
window.
yeah, but that was McDonald's.
Oh well.
McDonald's
Yeah,
dogs
that's
are
what she was
crazy.
saying. She wanted to go Super Saiyan on their asses, and it was like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Remember that news story? Remember that news story of that person that held up that one fast food place, and the other guy beat him. The other guy was able to get him with beat him up with a mop, and his friend turned out to be a prince.
Wow. I think Reggie's got a poem
Yeah,
about
he
things like
probably
that.
does. Alrighty, so like I said, if you want to join us,
You can't hear that, right?
I can.
No, I can't hear the music.
Okay,
Can
I'm
hear
talking
her.
it's coming through our headphones, but I'm working on routing the audio to you.
Okay.
Like I said, if you
Join.
want to come join our virtual spoken and heard stage, look for our Lane. Okay, Lane, we want them to join us. We don't want to scare them. You look like a deranged cult leader.
How many children?
He's got a Koresh meets Breaking Bad thing going right there. There it is.
Very
Okay.
good. Very
Alrighty,
good.
okay. So like I said, don't let Lost in Thought scare you. You can come online and read your poems, sing your song, put down your computer and do an interpretive dance about how much you hate your job. Oh, I could do that. But anyway. But coming up next to the virtual spoken and heard stage, come on, Ernie, give us some presidential theme music.
Dun, 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 dun.
Thank you, Ernie B, for using your whole ass for
Okay,
that.
hold on. Dun, 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 dun. Is that better?
All
Sorry,
right, hashtag Goodwin 2024. Give it up for Dr. Goodwin.
Yay, doctor in the house.
Woo!
Yeah.
He's the one they call
This
Dr.
one is
Goodwin.
this is some recent shit.
Recent
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. It's called Nebulous. You can't expect the people who can't get over their orange orangutan losing to accommodate reality and accept facts. Their grandparents haven't gotten over Robert E. Lee's surrender to Ulysses S. Grant at Appomattox. The lost cause narrative, post-Civil War gaslighting, kept a twisted hope alive for nativists, racists, proto-fascists, salve for savages, history revisionists, railing against critical race theory frameworks that wouldn't exist except for middle fingers for middle passages, castrations, trail of tears, master the servant rapists, siring mulatto service, insurrection from April 12th, 1861 to January 6th, 2021, pious hypocrites, projection specialists cloaked in respectability politics. They couldn't even convince themselves of their own bullshit. Define yourself superior to everyone's inferior, gaslighting history, creating the pseudoscientific white supremacy, biologically imbecilic. Homo sapiens of one species separated by pigmentation is ridiculous and for shared survival counterproductive because specifics confound magical thinking and flying spaghetti monster worship. They had to hide the stench under religious symbolism, eventually masked with hoods, red hats, burning crosses, and tiki torches, castrations, trail of tears, master the servant rapists, siring mulatto servants, pious hypocrites, projection specialists, cloaked in respectability politics, legal domestic terrorism, Jim Crow and voter suppression, draconian legislation, taking the country backward 70 years from the present because the future is so frightening when you have no control over it. Traveling backward violates the second law of thermodynamics. The problem with your simple illogic is that you never had control in the first place. Do you want a better tomorrow? The future is determined by what we do in the present.
Yes, absolutely true.
Yeah.
All right, give it up for Dr. Reggie Goodwin.
Doctor in
He's
the
what they
house.
call Dr. Goodwin.
Oh my God, Ernie, don't
Hell
don't
yeah.
pick out Motley Crue for Dr.
I kind of like that.
He's the one they call Dr. Goodwin. He's the one that's going to make it all right. He's the one called Dr.
Doctor
Goodwin.
who? Doctor who? Doctor who?
Oh, okay. That would actually be better, Tom. You need to break out somebody from Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Gallifrey. Okay. I couldn't think of it. I was like, what was the name of the planet? Gallifrey. Okay.
Gallifrey. Yes.
Gallifrey.
The Time Lords are.
Mm-hmm. Well done.
Okay. It's been a long time
Two
since
freaks.
I actually stopped watching it in protest after David Tennant regenerated.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because after the Doctor and Rose dissolved, I was like, yeah, no.
Nope.
But
I honestly still
I used to
like the
watch the
Doctors.
80s ones.
I was the 60s one in black and
Oh
white.
God, the 60s ones are a trip. Watching
They are.
watching like a flying saucer come in dangling from a fishing line. I'm like, oh my God.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Yep. And using the post office boxes from England. And also, you know, the music, the electronic music was done by an Australian composer. Dun 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 dun, etc. I liked it for the words.
Okay, wait, Tom. Do you remember the Companions from the 80s?
Oh, vaguely.
Do you remember their names?
No.
That's how I actually named my
Wow.
That's how I actually did you hear the music?
No,
Oh,
can't
okay.
hear the music.
Okay, Ernie's still testing it. Yeah, that's how I actually named my kids. The Doctor's
Wow.
Companions from the 80s. One was named Adric
Yeah.
and one was named Tegan.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Mm.
And people would be like, where'd you get your kids' names? You ever heard of Doctor Who?
Doctor Who.
No. Never mind.
Mhm.
but
That's
see,
wonderful.
but see, here's the kicker. Here's the kicker.
Yeah.
Once I took my kids to the rodeo here in Austin, the one off
Yeah.
Loyola. Well, duh. And we were getting on a ride, and we noticed the guy operating the super shot. His name was Adric, and I was like, "Oh,
Uh-huh.
cool." And he says, "I have a sister named Tegan," and we were all just
Oh,
like, "No!"
So you named
yes.
your kids after some carny?
I named my kids after a British sci-fi show,
That's right.
not
And a
after
good
a
one.
carny dork.
No.
Well, I mean,
We
basically what you just said.
we actually well they had a similar story. His parents were also Doctor Who fans, and
Yeah.
there,
There were cult people
Yeah.
in the
yeah,
60s. Everyone loved Doctor Who.
that see. Doctor Who was kind of like almost like Quentin Tarantino movies. You either knew
Yes,
about,
it was.
You either
It
knew
was.
about them or you didn't. That's it. There was no
That's
in
right.
between.
Yep.
You were either a super fan or, huh?
That's kind of
Yep.
like South Park. You're either on the train or you're not.
God.
Exactly.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. We're not going to be
And
talking about the
big
gospel
difference between the
according to
black
South
and
Park.
white and the color versions too. You know, the black and white were
Yeah.
the seriously out there, and then the color comes in. You think, oh, you know, but that's all you had was the color one, didn't you?
And then you think about the scene in Wizard of Oz
I think
where it goes from black and white to
I think I
Technicolor.
was mentioning this
That's-
the other day or a couple of shows ago. I recently bought the Wizard of Oz in 4K.
He did.
They
Whoa.
remastered it in 4K, and I watched it. First of all, I hadn't seen it in decades. Now it's
Yeah.
all restored and it's in 4K.
really
It's
clean.
beautiful. It's like
gorgeous.
oh my god.
It was
I mean it was an awesome film before, and now it's. I mean you can really see all the detail. Like I mean it's a set, but
Yeah.
I mean it was just amazing. I was blown away. I was absolutely blown away all over again. Yeah,
incredible.
I highly
Was
recommend
it
watching
one of
Wizard of Oz in 4K.
Wasn't one of the first Technicolor films?
Yes. Yes,
Yes.
it was. It was like what, 38 or 39?
Yeah, round about then.
Yeah, that was the year my dad was born, 39.
And it's just amazing how they can clean it up and restore it, and the audio too. I mean, it just sounded and looked fantastic. I was like, wow.
And the
Computers, baby.
technology they used to make the tornado was actually pretty groundbreaking too. You know,
Yep.
I mean,
Those were real effects. There was
Yeah.
no CGI. Those
those were all hand done, and I'm kind of like I like researching how they make like sound effects and stuff like that. But I did read that they used an old nylon stocking to make the tornado.
Wow.
They were
Wow.
literally like
I'm impressed.
spinning an old nylon stocking to make the tornado funnel.
Yeah.
I was like, okay,
and it was
I'm
effective.
impressed.
It was effective because when I at least when I watch it, when the tornado's coming in, you get scared. It's like, oh shit, you sense the urgency. She's trying to save herself. And she can't. And this tornado's it looks menacing. It's like the wind's blowing.
Yep.
And then it's so noisy they can't hear her beating
Yeah.
on the storm shelter door.
So I mean, that was just like it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant how they did that back then. With analog technology. I mean, they just
Mhm.
Yeah. I had
Well, when we was-
nightmares with the witch under the house.
mhm.
When the
Yeah.
house fell on the witch, that made me
Really?
have nightmares for years. Yeah.
Not me. I was glad.
Oh, points of view.
Yeah.
When I was-
No, when we was out in LA, we went to Universal Studios, and it was a section that we went in, and they actually showed us how all these movies were being made,
Yeah.
and that when they're driving in the car, they're not really driving; they're just sitting there. And it's the background,
yeah.
No,
and on the horse and the boats, it's the background that's moving.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
thought that was very, Now when I watch a movie because of Diana, she be like, "Oh, look, it's painted." I'm like, "Yeah, I see it."
On Star Trek, the original series of Star Trek, remember when they go to the transporter and they disappear? That effect.
That's right.
That effect is it's a glass of water that they spin and they pour glitter in it.
Wow.
And it's just a close-up of that. and that's how they created that illusion of them transporting.
That's amazing.
Oh, and little known fact, the floor of the transporter became the ceiling of the transporter in the movies.
Wow.
They actually reused it.
Maybe they installed it wrong and they realized, you know what, let's just go with it.
Let's just flip it.
We already started shooting.
When I was a kid.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm not sure if y'all remember that series, Tales from the Dark Side.
I do.
Yes.
I watch it all the time.
There was one tale that scared the hell out of me as a kid, and I could not get it out of my head. And it was of this woman that was working at home taking calls, and she tried to go on a diet plan. So she got these specific pairs of glasses and specific pairs of hearing aids. And the hearing aids made her hear food. Like she could hear food screaming.
Oh, no.
Wow.
And when she put on glasses, she could see food talking. And like it was getting to the point where she was getting very hungry, and she was trying to pick a banana and was almost peeling. It was like, oh no. And it was like, I'm so sorry that I tried to eat you. And it's like, oh no. And it's like, don't worry, you will never have to worry again. And then she ended up dying because she sewed her mouth shut. It's like,
Oh,
Thank you very much, Lane.
Thank you, Lane.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm
You're
gonna have a nightmare next time I try and eat a hamburger.
See, all
So
I
and
said is they
so.
restored The Wizard of Oz in 4K. That's all I said.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's true. Anyway, I'm going to follow on from Birdman, unless Lane has got something. Do you have something, Lane?
Lane, do you have something to read to us?
actually, I've written a lot of new shit this week.
Uh-oh.
Excellent.
Uh-oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh,
Well,
shit.
well, keep this one under 30 minutes, okay?
Birdman just left. I'm out of here.
Birdman went.
First
Okay,
hot
well,
shoot.
let me go change the oil in my car. Okay, so coming up next to the virtual spoken and heard stage, we have Lost in Thought.
Boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants.
Yes. Even though I hate, absolutely fucking despise people that feel the need to pump up the bass in their car radios so much that they are literally driving around in a magnitude seismic level 9.5 earthquake. And even though I fucking hate people that can't seem to comprehend, you don't need to scream at a voice octave so goddamn high that it appears you are legitimately angry to a point that it should be making enough sweat to pour down your face, that it looks like you just got done tumbling down Niagara Falls in a barrel, and you are not in the middle of a concert, just have a normal conversation. And even though it makes me feel absolute seething rage when some uncouth fucker is yelling at their phone like they're a DJ at a nightclub while it's on speaker in a public setting, and even though I think it is incredibly rude to share a common space with other people like an apartment building where you're sharing your property and your very existence with others that have walls that connect in some form or fashion to you, and you just think that the decibel at which you listen to your music or your radio or TV and the level at which you hold conversations only applies to you and fuck everyone else, I still do not think it is worth getting violent or killing someone over. No. It is not just as bad that you think that you can murder someone else because they are being a legitimate asshole by living in their own world and not giving any kind of consideration to anyone else. I think it's worse. I think it's worse because they may think that only their interests are important. But you are the one that thinks your life is the only one that holds any importance over anyone else. They may be some kind of classless moron that run around and act like a child that has an advanced stereo system lodged in their throat. But you are far more nefarious creature by claiming your home as a castle and your domain has taken on a life of its own, developing malicious and harmful claws that rip open the very groundwork of territories that exceed so far beyond your actual home that it seems to encompass the range of 2 atom bombs searing into the atmosphere. Newsflash. Yes, just like them, you need to realize this entire territory does not belong to you. However, unlike them, you also need to realize that the world is not yours and yours alone. That defending your home in your honor is not to be confused with the disturbing bloodthirst that is flowing out over actual racist tendencies within you. Furthermore, loud, disruptive people aren't just one specific race. I remember a neighbor I had that always had his stereo system so loud he might as well be living in my apartment. And he was an egotistical white kid. Sound barriers that are shattering into the very vicinity you reside in is not an excuse to reach back into your ancestry of harmful, destructive monsters and try to find a way that make it still relevant today. In fact, you are far more ignorant if you are running around with this superiority complex that is so absolute that is actually giving you this authority seeming to power itself on the dominance and just brutal privilege over other people. Yes, it is annoying to have to deal with this demonic boom melting into the vortex so fast you'd think that Sonic the Hedgehog himself has just taken up residence in your location, and yes, it is just plain infuriating to have other people's private and rightful choice of entertainment invading your home, and yes, it is actually causing a true, unavoidable disturbance to your home. You should probably do something about it, like have a conversation with them, asking them politely to stop. And if that doesn't work, you may have to call security or even the police, but only after all of your efforts have been exhausted. However, it is not worth killing someone over, or making them feel less than, nor should it be. And I am noticing some racist tendencies within me. If you've been listening to this poem, you've been hearing how I've been equating loud people to racism, and that's not actually the case. I also, quite unfortunately, have an annoyance that traverses an ice-cold trail of surging pins stabbing right into my nerves every time I take the time to spell out someone's complicated name while at work. But unlike AA, where the first step is admitting you have a problem, that doesn't quite apply here. You see, racism, sexism, transphobia, homophobia, all of that, while yes, finding the capacity to locate and especially an egregious flaw in yourself is certainly sincere, just simply knowing you have that issue isn't going to solve the problem. When I was in my early 20s, a friend of mine was dating someone who was self-admittedly homophobic. He even told me point blank to my face, yeah, I'm homophobic. And I'll admit that I have that issue. Well, gee, thanks, buddy, for being so honest. That's okay. That rather annoying habit I have of taking up space in this world and, the very fact that I am breathing and alive isn't as essential as you are. I am so sorry for existing in your presence. Please forgive me. I'll just slink way on over here. You can act like I'm not in any way, shape, or form sharing any kind of space with you or on this entire planet. I heard that station they're building on Mars is actually starting to make some headway. Tell you what, the very second they start jettisoning people off into space and hurling them to the atmosphere as if they're nothing more than lifeless asteroids blaring through the galaxies, I'll be the first one to get a ticket to it. You don't have to put with me much longer. I mean, great, you're homophobic. Thanks for telling me. Now, are you going to do something about it? Like educating yourself and maybe, or at the very least, do something like, I don't know, actively going out and purposely look for situations that you can place yourself in where you're around other people within the same orientation so it can start to break down your barriers and shed some light on this very wrong perspective you seem to have? I mean, if I am holding someone else to that standard, then why am I not doing the same for myself? I know that just because I'm gay does not mean I know what it's like to be hated against for any other reason, as I have heard that argument, and that infuriates me, even more so than people holding an entire MTV concert hall in their car. It infuriates me because that action makes me feel ashamed that I have anything in common with you, you oblivious, bird-brained asshole. Don't think that because you seem to have some kind of characteristic infused into your humanity that can unfairly cause the animosity to be evoked in the asinine prejudices in other people, that means you suddenly know what it's like to be black, or to be Asian, or to be a woman, or to be transgendered. Let me tell you, it doesn't. The only exception to that rule is if you are actually black, or Asian, or transgendered. It is not this card you can carry around and point at and see and be like, you see, look at that. That means I can say that, or act like this, because that gives me immunity. No, it doesn't. So, what can I do about my inherent racism and prejudice induced by the spelling of someone else's name? Well, first off, I could calm down about it, apologize, and ask how to spell that and actively listen so I don't have to ask several more times to repeat themselves. And if I do, make sure to apologize for it. They aren't being rude or being a jerk just because of the very collection of vowels and consonants that have been assigned to identify the meaning of their presence in this world. If, after I have gotten their name within the patience and virtue of being as much of a gentleman I can be and should be, they try to push me along and are not following any of my instructions, or as I try to help them for the very reason of why they called me in the first place, then yeah, at that point they're being an asshole. But just telling me what they are named does not give me an excuse to be annoyed with them. Not only is it something that is not of their doing, it is not something that they should be apologizing for. Also, the way we can speak, what we say can speak volumes. Also, what we don't say. So I'll bring this up. Being aggressively loud doesn't only apply to people of races other than white. Just like being considerate and having manners doesn't apply to people of other races than white. Being a continuous jerk and being a nice person are both universal. They are human traits and characteristics that traverse the surface and are attached to human behavior. You hear that? Human. Which means that skin color or heritage doesn't fucking matter. We should not be placing emphasis on what they look like. What should be taking importance are their actions, not what their license says. Look, we share this earth together. We are all human. We all have feelings and emotions, and sometimes, now more than ever, we have to not just take into consideration that there are others we are here on this planet with, but live this life with the expectation that that is just a basic truth and right. It should not be a privilege for you to have been born. The second you took your first breath, that is giving you every right and acknowledgement as anyone else. And yeah, because we are human, we also fuck up. We all take turns being an asshole. But that does not mean that excuses anyone else, or me for that matter, for acting like however we want. Oh, don't mind me. I'm just being a complete downright vicious beast. And although I still think it's asinine and a rude thing to do to have your sound at the same level as an air raid.
Okay.
Okay, I think Lane's talking about his neighbors.
With that mustache, and your beard happening, all you need is some mirrored sunglasses, and you look like the bass player from Foghat. Yeah, you need some some mirrored sunglasses.
I need to edit that piece down, actually.
That was quite wrong.
Huh?
That was quite wrong.
Yes,
But see, you need to finish it with and in conclusion.
What makes me think of that, I forgot which naked one it was, when that scientist was reading doctor. Like, all right.
Well-
So, like I said, I don't know if you've ever seen any videos along.
Don't worry, we got plenty.
If you're watching this, head
I wonder if you could try to call like after the fact, like when we're not live anymore, and you stumble across the video later. And try to
yeah, because we just say live on so for somebody asking about Janet's husband John.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said, I stumbled across the live stream. Wanted to know if you guys were back at it. I said, and I actually had to text these two. I was like,
we never really went away. I mean, we just started doing it.
Well, the good news is there's live venues happening again. Harriet's group is meeting on June the 2nd at Jalisco's from 11 a.m. in the morning till 1. And at 1 o'clock there is, of course, on Zoom, Independence Airport. Corroboree on Wednesdays. And on Monday, we've got Independence Airport Writing Prop Workshop. And I found out today that Recycle Reads is opening again in August. So there'll be live poetry at Recycle Reads, which has been going for about 7 years until the COVID. So people are getting back into live venues, and you guys have held the fort for so long. Wonderful.
Yeah, there are. Every week there's more bands starting to play live again. More tours.
Yeah. Yep. People are hungry. They are hungry. Yeah.
I don't know
It's
if you
big enough steam, though. I said it's big enough steam because at least 60% of U.S. adults have received one shot of something. So whether it's Pfizer, Moderna, or Johnson & Johnson. Whiskey doesn't.
He's thinking of a joke about Johnson & Johnson. The side effects. That goes to the doctor, and the doctor says, this Johnson & Johnson's got some bad side effects. He says, it doesn't matter, hit me with it. And he goes back to the doctor 2 days later and says, I got 2 nicks. He said, yeah, Johnson & Johnson, I told you.
When I worked at the music store, we sold this guitar company called Johnson Guitars, and they're kind of like budget guitars. They're like this guy comes in one time and says, "Man, it makes me want to buy it just so I can have it at a gig." I said, "Okay, give me a minute while I pull out my Johnson." My guitar.
Yeah. Nothing like the old ones. But I was listening to Birdman, and he was so positive at the beginning. I thought I have to bring up the vibe because that was really good. Him mentioning the fact that we're still here, we're still going, Zoom's on, and we're connecting to people. So I got something about, we had a dinner party the other day, and it was live, no masks on, hugging time. It was really special. So if you're up for it, love to share it.
But that's one thing too. People been going out to the shows, and they'll ask, "Are you vaccinated?" Yes, that's an instant hug. Well, people are dying for hugs.
They are. It's a hug hunger. Hug hunger.
Alright, so coming up next to the Heard stage, Tom the World Poet, Tom Moonbird.
Cast your mind back, folks. to a few days ago when there was sunshine in Austin, Texas, and we are her first house guest for 19 months. Only 2 clouds in the sky, unvaccinated and the vaccine hesitants. Now, if the mask mandate is lifted for vaccinated, we can gather in small groups like this dinner party par excellence. Selected guests, all vaccinated, welcome each other to each other. Everything's prepared, al fresco dining, homemade lasagna, Greek salad, and gifting, and a pent-up personal conversation face-to-face we're all most heart-hungry for. Everything is illuminated. A delightful ambience begins with wine and hibiscus teas. We listen as she recounts her adventures in academia and traveling. Her daughter wants to meet us and will drop in later. Meanwhile, we drink, we talk, we laugh, we hug. And if you wonder why this is so miraculous, remember the last 2 years of none of this. Now the traffic in Austin has returned to gridlock. Folk want to travel again, upping their carbon footprint. You cannot get into your dentist, and the restaurants that survived are full to the gills. Meanwhile, in the Austin sunshine, the new renaissance begins again. As we speak of Susan Bright, David Wevell, David Oliphant, Betty Sue Flowers, Harry Ransom, and our host beams and a ceasefire is declared, and we can all become peaceful civilians again. Because her most important book is the fact that she speaks Italian, Latin, Spanish, German, and Greek. But English was always difficult for her. So her father read to her from an English poetry compendium from 1865, and she learned English from poetry by Robbie Burns, William Wordsworth, Samuel Taylor Coleridge. So her vocabulary is both romantic and extended in imaginative scope. She showed us her travels in Cappadocia, in Turkey, in Russia, in Anatolia, made slides from her photos, and her son put them on computer, made photo books of each country she visited. This impresses us almost as much as the story she shared of canoeing down the Rio Grande with the Sierra Club, of hot air ballooning over Cappadocia and Anatolia, of the Hermitage Museum in Russia and all those golden onion dome churches, of all the markets and the rocks she brought home from her travels, and where she is so beloved by her children, her son and 2 distinct daughters. She's a dancing dervish in the stillness of this butterfly world. She's at peace in poetry from which her whole linguistic world was born, and whose womb room invites you every time you try to log in to Zoom. In this case, Skype. Yes! Live dinner guests. Yay, live hugging time.
Uh-oh. Ernie's looking up the picture of the bassist for Foghat. Well, while he's doing that, I'm going to read you guys some old shit.
Oh, no, it's the drummer. It's the drummer. I'm sorry.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
Shit,
shit.
that is old.
And this is called...
Shitty old.
And this is called Crone. We're taught to push back age wherever we see it. Wrinkle creams to Botox. Diets to waist cinchers. The elderly aren't celebrated in our society. They're ignored, hidden away. We are oblivious to the stories and the wisdom they could teach us. Age is feared as a loss of vitality. There's a saying on social media, if people laugh when you fall over, you're still young. If they rush to pick you up, you're old. Time passes when you're having fun. Time passes whether you like it or not. A girl I envied in high school has been dead for over 30 years. Time took her first. My father calls his gray hair trophies, awards he's received for living well into his 80s. Never thought I'd make it this far and still feel punk rock. Learning to embrace and not condemn the years. Much more confident in my skin than I was 20 years ago. All the years that have passed, I've grown. I, for one, am embracing the crone.
Yay, positive vibration. Embrace the crone. See if she embraces sex.
So far,
That's nice.
I haven't gotten the rushing to pick me up yet, so we're doing good.
Give it time.
Okay. Ernie B., are we going to do your bacon haikus?
Bacon. Eat it.
That's not a That's not a haiku. That's a statement.
I'm doing something over here. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
CNN, as more places shake off COVID restrictions, here are some... That's all. That's all. Never mind.
Here are some. That's it. Okay.
Yeah, because then I have to open up the article and I don't want to.
Okay. So wait.
Okay. I don't know if you guys can see this.
Oh,
See, that's what Lane's starting to look like.
yeah.
Yeah.
It
See,
does.
that's the drummer from Foghat
Yeah.
back in the 70s.
Let
Yeah.
me
And
see
I'm
it.
not
Let me
blonde.
see it.
That's
Oh,
you.
shit.
Yeah, he just needs some teardrop sunglasses
Yeah, you just need some of those '70s sunglasses, and you got it.
and learn how to play drums.
There you go.
That's some Spinal Tap.
You could be the guy getting the picture taken, while the other guy actually plays the drums. You'll be his body double.
Well, Birdman's ready.
Birdman, are you ready to grace us with some more of your writings?
I'm always ready.
Alrighty.
Yep.
Give it up for Birdman 313. Woo!
Oh, okay. This is one I wrote when I was down in Galveston at the beach, Jamaica Beach at
Galveston
that.
shit.
Yes. Finding a safe place. Walking along the edge of the ocean, trying to find a safe place to relax, think, and allow my mind to roam freely. The waves crash against the shore as the smell of the ocean fills the air and a strong, chilling wind blows. There are no boats in sight as giant waves roll in, covering the sand. The waves in the ocean must be respected because the undercurrent can trap swimmers that only a few escape. For me, you can't ask for a more pleasant, more relaxing place for the soul to feel safe and refreshed. Somehow it feels safer walking on the beach with the waves than it does walking or driving on the roads. It seems that there are just so many trigger happy people looking for any reason to say, look at me, as they shoot and kill another human. We all must close our eyes permanently one day, but why not let God determine that fate and time instead of some Rambo hothead looking to post on social media for 15 minutes of fame? Standing and wondering, will the peace on the shoreline be exempted from the unrest as the restless, power-driven waves are rolling onto the shore? Claim victory once more and silently rush back into the ocean. All right. And the next one is titled Creating Poetry. I wrote this one some time back. It's been some time back.
In the before time.
A poet some a poet sometimes needs a little encouragement, some wisdom, or a gem of knowledge that can put a spark in our writing. Try to peek behind the dark curtain to see what they think, what moves them, or pushes them to create. Poets can be mysterious as we conjure words in a space. While our words can mean one thing to us, but can mean something else by the way we speak it or how someone understands it in their mind. We may even write between the lines. The language we use can be new and innovative. It is fascinating to see how poets think and approach their craft and what is thought to be poetry or what should it be. A lot of poets, writers, musicians, and storytellers like to write when everyone else is asleep. Writing while music is playing can be relaxing, making creative thoughts flow. Feeling organic and being constant as images come into view make it easier to see and feel. Thoughts are not edited before they leave the mind. They are free writing, free flowing, and free thoughts. You should not try to write for a certain audience or under pressure, as this will leave you blocked or stuck. Thoughts and ideas will not flow. Poems should be unique and personal, expressing the heart and soul of the writer. Mystical meanings of words can be wonderful and thought provoking. in the deepest hour of the night. Let your mind and words flow. Even in dreams, words start to dance around, float, and flow constantly. Try to focus on your poetry, going far and deep to pull out the right words. Sometimes it feels like riding on a cloud, listening to the soul, expressing what is hidden deep inside. Let the voices inspire, comfort, and scream out what is trying to be released. Letting the words process leads to understanding and healing. Writing, reading, and listening to poetry can be one of life's greatest joys and inspiration. Thank you.
He's
Birdman
absolutely right.
313.
Absolutely.
Are you still on?
Huh? I don't know. Am
Yeah,
I?
no, you can.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on.
I like that last one you did, Hot Tamale.
Oh, thank you.
You know, a lot what you were saying there in that last piece is very true of songwriting too. It goes.
Correct.
It's the same thing. If I sit down, okay, I'm going to write a song today. Nothing will happen. You know,
Absolutely.
it
Right.
just has to. I have to be just messing around on the guitar, and then oh, hey, that sounds cool. You know, it just has to happen.
Yep.
And sometimes there's
Yeah.
there's days that weeks, months go by where nothing. You know, it's just something that
And then all of a sudden a
yeah, it's
flood.
like hey, that sounded cool. You know?
Yeah.
One thing I did notice is sometimes when I would be out driving, and it was worse in traffic. It was worse when you were like in bumper to bumper traffic, and all of a sudden you get hit with an idea. You're like, "Oh shit! Oh god! Okay, I gotta write this down. I gotta write this down." So I literally started keeping like a pencil and paper to kind of like scroll down some ideas, or I pick up my phone and just talk into it real quick so I could kind of like give my idea while I was driving, which isn't really safe, but I digress. Just get the idea down so you could kind of like flesh it out when you stop.
But Hot
Yes,
Tamale,
Right.
Hot Tamale, many things I do not know and few I know for certain. But one thing is absolute. Put a pen next to a telephone, it will never work again.
You know, I do that, but see, because Diana is with me, a lot of times I'll say something and I'll say, remember this.
Yeah.
And sometimes she'll write it down and sometimes and I'll repeat it like maybe 2 or 3 times. And then she'll say, I got it. I got it. I got it. And I'm like, thank you. That's all I wanted. So,
It's your memory bank.
yes.
Changing the subject a little bit. Reggie, how's your turtle?
I'll be right
Oh,
back.
Speedy, she's
Yeah,
fine.
we haven't seen or heard of your turtle in a few months.
Well, like with turtles, most of the action is in the morning. That's when she's active and looking for
Ah.
food.
Running around and stuff, doing calisthenics and all that.
Yeah, literally, that's what she's doing. Like she gets up on her pool and she gets sideways, and I'm like, what exactly are you doing?
Feed me. And what's
What do you feed
what's
her?
a turtle diet like? A little leaf of lettuce and stuff, or
Sometimes, but she eats a lot. So there's tortoise food, which is it seems to be like this fruit mixture, which is it seems like it's dried
turtle chow.
strawberries and vegetables, and then I mix into it mealworms and grasshoppers.
Mm-hmm.
She likes that. She loves it.
Okay,
Actually, crickets.
so
Crickets.
you
She
get
doesn't
that at
like
the pet
grass.
store, I would imagine.
Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't come like in a box, like turtle chow, Purina turtle chow, or tortoise chow.
Yeah, surprisingly, I mean, it's in a container, and then I just put it in there in the morning when she's running around doing her calisthenics. Get out of the way.
That's pretty wise.
Yeah. No,
So there's a
I
fairly-
just kind of while Birdman was reading, I don't know why I just started thinking about your turtle. Hey, what happened to this turtle? But
And now that it's warm, I can take her outside and let her run around in the grass, which she's really fast when I let
Really?
her do that. But yeah.
oh. So you need to get some.
She's trying to escape.
Damn,
Well, that's where I found
he
it.
caught
Carolina.
it. Oh, so it was a wild turtle.
Yeah, it was literally in my front yard in Cedar Park.
Hey, you know what? You wouldn't have been able to have that if you were living in Florida. You cannot have any turtles in your house because they are endangered species.
Mhm.
Because my ex-brother-in-law, it was a turtle in our yard, and he brought it in the house, and something happened. One of the neighbors seen him, and they actually called the police on him. Huh? No. Somebody seen him pick the turtle up and bring him in the house. And somebody called the police on them, and that's when they told us that there are endangered species, and anytime you see a turtle, you have to call this particular number and bring it in. Well, come to find out that the house we was living in had a tunnel underneath, and the tunnel has snakes and turtles in it.
Wow, Turtles Anonymous.
When was that rule enacted?
Huh?
When was that law enacted?
It still is.
Because when I was a kid in the 80s, I lived in Florida, we had 2 pet turtles.
But this was like, and I talked to every once in a while. Her brother, he'll contact me, and I always ask him, have he picked up anything? And he said, no, I don't do that, man. He said they'll call the police. You know, he said you was down here when the turtle incident happened. I'm like, yeah. So I guess it's still going on.
You can't even have a pet turtle at all?
Well, this turtle was out in the public, and anything that's out walking, you can't
take them out of the wild.
Right.
But Dr. Goodwin has got more stories about other things than turtles.
He's like,
I was gonna say one more thing. Like I was walking around a pond here in Greensboro, and you know how in the story Myrtle the turtle, they kind of pile up on each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
they actually do that.
They do.
That's where the idea of Turtle Island comes from. That America's called to, and also the Vedic scriptures say Earth is a turtle upon turtle upon turtle upon turtle upon turtle. Mm-hmm. So that's where it's based on a real fact that they do turtle up.
Why do they do that?
Turtellini.
I used to work at UT Tyler in Tyler, Texas, and they had this little lake pond in between the campus buildings, and there would be a path going in between the lakes, and you would always see turtles like you said stacked up on a log, and sometimes I take pictures. Oh, this is so cool, but the closer you got to the turtles, they just go, and then they just go back into the water because they sense you were coming.
Yep.
Why do they do that? Is there a reason, or are they just having fun?
I don't know why they do it. But,
oh my god!
No. Turtles on turtles, baby.
Turtles gone wild.
There's a UT turtle pond I'd like to take her to.
No, but
because I'd like to release her to her people.
Yes.
You also made me think of when you were saying about that tunnel underground the house. My kids, they went to a middle school called Dessau Middle School on North Dessau.
Oh, yeah.
And their mascot is the Diamondback. So I was like, Dessau Diamondbacks,
the snake, yeah.
And so my kids, they told me why they're the Dessau Diamondbacks, because apparently they built the school on an active rattlesnake cave.
Not good.
Yeah, and I was like, and they thought that was a good idea. Why?
Where's a good place to put a school for the children? Right there with all the
rattlesnakes. And they actually said that a lot of times rattlesnakes get into the school. I'm like, jeez.
Yeah, it's their home.
Well, that's the way this neighborhood was. It was a tunnel, and it just went up on our house, but it was this one block. And they said up underneath it was snakes and turtles. So they said if you see one, either just let them go, because if you pick them up, you got to turn them in. If not, You know, you can go to jail. The fine at the time, that was in '95, was $2,000.
Too much.
And yeah.
No
And
turtle's worth 2,000.
you can go on about your business, Mr. Turtle. That's how I feel about it, you know.
Yep,
But
I want a second-hand turtle.
Gently
1,000.
used turtle.
Oh God.
Gently used
Certified
Yeah.
used turtle.
Did you hear about the? I think the golf tournament this weekend. There was a baby alligator or crocodile or something got onto the golf course, and paused the game for a little while because they had to let it go on its way. You know, they didn't go out there and try to catch it. They just let him do his business, and eventually it left. But
it's like that in Florida too. It's called Alligator Alley, and it's like if you take 27 to go to Miami, and you see the alligators walking across, you let them walk across. If you touch one of them, you go into jail. It was a little kid. He pissed on the turtle, and the police went down to his house. That's all he did was piss. And the neighbor called, and hey, they said you can't spit on the turtle, nothing. You can't throw rocks at them. People will call on you, and they say Alligator Alley is the same way. If you see them crossing the street, you got to stop and let them all cross. And if you
the same thing in Australia. Crocodiles are protected species. I couldn't believe it. You know, they kill koalas and they kill kangaroos, but the crocodiles, they just let them be.
Yeah.
that's one thing.
Okay,
I'd rather have crocodile
I
steak.
would be more scared of a kangaroo than a crocodile because those suckers are buff.
That's one thing, Tom. When I told you about that trucking show from Australia, the truck
Yes,
drivers.
yes. I watched.
They get worried about they hit kangaroos. You know, they come out into the road and they're driving at night, even sometimes during the day, and there's they're hauling up 150 tons of whatever they're hauling. They can't just swerve,
Right.
And when they hit them, they try not to hit them, but when they do hit them, they're big animals, and it messes up their undercarriage, their brake lines, or whatever, and it's this
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the big reds, and my friend was a photographer in the Northern Territory. Her name was Coral Hull, Dr. Coral Hull, like our friend Reggie, and she photographed all the carcasses of kangaroos for it was 800 miles, and it was sort of like a death sentence right along the highway because the trucks are going so fast they can't stop for the kangaroo. And the kangaroo was there first, but only temporarily.
Those big road trains, the trucks, they'll like have 3 or 4 trailers hooked to them. They can't stop. They can't.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you just said all the animals, that just reminded me. Once me and Ernie and my kids, we all went backpacking west of San Antonio in an area called Lakey, Texas.
Yeah.
And when we were driving for miles, we kept seeing dead boars.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
All those dead wild pigs on the side of the road,
all over the place.
A lot of them.
Right.
I was like, what
Yep.
the heck?
Yeah, feral hogs.
Yeah.
They're all over Texas, and they used to have a bounty on them so that people would shoot them and bring them in for money, like the dingoes in Australia, and used to be the rabbits as well.
But it was an issue. I remember like last year or 2 years ago, there was an issue on the south side of Austin here, down by where the dump is. There were people complaining about there was wild hogs just like crazy, like getting into their yards, and they're big. I mean, they'll charge you,
And they
yeah.
We got a big one in Australia called a razorback.
Sure.
They even made a movie called Razorback, and they're scary monsters.
Yeah.
They got these little turned up little horns, and they're feral and angry. What are you doing in our backyard? You're out of here. You don't say no to a razorback.
All righty. So, like I said, if you've joined us and
you wonder what the hell we're talking about,
and trying to figure out the riveting conversation about turtles, snakes, and
all I did was ask about
hogs.
his turtle. Now we're talking about hogs and
now
stuff.
we're talking about feral hogs by the side of the road.
Dr. Goodwin.
So, Dr. Goodwin, do you have any more works for us?
He's what they call it.
Nothing about turtles, but you'll recognize this.
Go ahead.
And it was something that I kind of quickly posted on Facebook, but you'll recognize this term because it's by a famous lawyer with leaky hair Trial by combat.
Mm.
He went to law school, changed from a Democrat to Republican, led by baggy mob figures, Giuliani time in New York City, and Samuel Jackson's Shaft. America's mayor after 9/11, ran for Senate against Hillary Rodham Clinton, lost. It's been downhill from that point since. On one bright, shining moment on a dark day of terror, a legacy he couldn't ride to the presidency, as Biden quipped, a noun, a verb, in 9/11. Following a fool, making himself a tool in Ukraine, acting as insane as his malignant narcissist client, whose history says he won't pay for his legal expenses nor collect from him one red cent, tried to manufacture dirt on the opponent his client feared the most, the 46th president. His golden years of whatever's left of them, of his stay on this planet, going to Rikers Island, where he sent mob clients, not cool for him, Farah, Foreign Agents Registration Act. You'd think he would have read it before his trip. Trial by combat by a leaky-haired wombat, pants gripping in Borat 2, staging a stupid stunt before a coup in front of the Four Seasons and a porn shop. How's following an orange dingbat working out for you?
Mm.
No.
Giuliani Blues, baby. Yeah.
You see, you would think they would just cancel once they found out what their location was. You know what? This is called off.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't right. No, but they went ahead and did it anyways. Like, oh,
Fools.
God, that was so. I thought it was a joke.
Dumbo is
I
smarter.
thought it was a joke.
I thought it was an SNL sketch.
Yeah, it is now.
I was like,
Yeah.
did that really happen? Is this real?
Yeah, it's
Broadcasting
surrealism.
live from the Four Seasons Auto Body. What?
But we've got lost in thought. He's miraculous.
We do.
Okay,
He's going to be in the documentary of the history of Foghat.
If anything, Ernie already posted and tagged him. Hey guys, you're missing a member.
We found your drummer.
He's
I do
probably
have.
chuckling like, haha, fuck you guys.
He's plotting to kill me now.
No.
No, seriously, we haven't seen, because you're always masked up. We haven't seen your growth. I mean your hair, yeah, but not your beard and your mustache.
I'm sorry. As soon as you said growth, I started thinking of malignancy.
Seriously, guys, because you guys are online, but you should see when Lane shows up at Kick Butt, because not only is he wearing like two masks, but he also has the face shield. It looks like he has riot gear on when he walks in.
Wow.
And,
You also look like Cousin It.
yeah, now, yeah.
That too.
Although when he's on stage, I know you guys seen the pictures when I hit him with the side shot with the purple light on his hair.
Yes.
It looks really good.
Yeah. That back camera is fantastic, especially when you focus on people reading stuff. Phoenix by the Sea really responds to that. You know, he stayed right to the end of 3 hours and 10 minutes last week. I have a lot of respect for Alvaro.
At first,
Phoenix
when
by the Sea.
I think it's those cameras that brought the crowd in, actually.
Yeah, could well be.
Kind of up
I think so,
up
too.
the game, I guess. You know, like
Yep.
wow, we got to go check this out. You know.
Of course, at the same time, Ernie says he sees this. I never see it because I'm always running up and down the stage. He says sometimes people walk in, see everything going on, and turn around and walk out.
Yeah, because they're not used to it. It's an involving experience, and if you don't want to be involved, if you just think it's a coffee shop, you're on the wrong planet. It's more than a coffee shop; it's an experience. Are you experienced? Have you ever been experienced? Try spoken and heard on a Sunday night. You'll never be the same again.
Yeah.
Right, Lost in Thought?
I think some people sometimes, especially if they're first timers, you know, first time on the stage or whatever, they come in and they see everything we're doing, they become a little intimidated by it all, you know?
Yes.
I mean, we got the stage, this great sound system, lights and cameras, and it's like, I don't want to go up there now. You know, it's enough for them just to get up behind a microphone, let alone with cameras and streaming and all that. But
Not like Lost in Thought.
But at the same time, if they just give us a minute and they start to listen, and they realize we're just a bunch of idiots, well, the hosts, not we're just having a good time and it's fun, and that's what usually happens. People will listen and they're like, they can't believe they're seeing it, and then once it's
That's right.
and then once it's over, it's like, this is amazing. I can't, because I don't know how many times after the show, like people that see it for the first time, they'll stop when after we log off, they come over and they're like, that's just so cool. I can't. How do you guys do it? Because I always joke, oh, what much better in rehearsal, which we don't rehearse. They're like, they think it's all planned, and it's not. It's just.
That's one thing.
Well-
I remember one Sunday, my sister and her husband kind of popped in to kind of watch what was going on. And I was aware of it. I'm kind of like, because she's never seen me do this at all.
Right.
So after the show, she came over and she's like, when do you have time to rehearse this? And
We
I
got
was like, straight from the hip, baby. All of the idiots you see is ad lib.
This is rehearsal.
And she freaked out. She's like, oh my God. And her husband, my brother-in-law, was just like, how do you guys do this? Oh my God. I was like, 12 years of practice.
It's not working for Lost in Thought.
Yep.
Well, before I go into my next, which I think is a little more succinct,
Iliad. Sorry.
I'm thinking my hair. Hold on.
What hair?
Oh no.
Now you look like the drummer from Foghat.
He has embraced the it.
Okay, Lane, I think you really need a man bun. Seriously. Seriously.
Okay. A man bun.
Okay, so coming up next to the virtual spoken and heard stage.
This whole time I've left
Some
this.
people call him Mike. Some
Wait.
people call him Lane. Other people call him Lost in Thought. Give it up for Lost in Thought.
This whole time I've left, while we've been talking, I left the camera on Reggie. So you. Oops.
Yeah, we're
Sorry.
focusing on you, Reggie.
So yeah, okay.
Get to see your gorgeous face.
Get
Thank
a
you.
really good look at your next president.
Yes.
Okay, Lane, you're on.
Right. When Farrah Fawcett first posed for Playboy, she did not go nude. And Playboy was like, where are the nude shots? There was a big deal about it, but she was eventually permitted to go non-nude. Yeah, remember when Scott Bakula posed for Playgirl, and there was that huge deal about him not going nude? Actually, wait, there wasn't. Hey, remember when that controversy over taking Kevin Costner's full frontal scene out of For the Love of the Game? Actually, wait, no, there wasn't. I mean, it's almost as if there's this unfair expectation that women are supposed to be looked at as objects meant to be either virtuous or sexualized trophies, or both. Has anyone seen that movie, The Dreamers? It starred Michael Pitt, Eva Green, and Louis Goodall. There was also a lot of dick in it. It was rated NC-17. Here in the States, that is. Even though it has no graphic violence, not really much foul language, or even any kind of odd fetishes. So, a man's penis is on screen, and that is either going to make it R, at the very least, or NC-17. Meanwhile, there have been movies rated PG-13 with full frontal female nudity. Hey, I get it. Some dudes, not all, but some dudes don't want to see that. Ew, gross. A naked man? That is disgusting. I don't want to sit here and watch that, but I don't want anyone else to see it either. It's not like I could close my eyes or press fast forward or not watch the movie or not look at the screen because gross. That appendage is especially offensive to me. And because of that, other people should have that same perspective. What? You mean you actually want to have a complex social construct that compounds the vast array of different thoughts and opinions running through the pathways as something as unique and different to you as your own mind? And you think it's a beautiful thing to have something so incredibly different as an opinion of your own on this matter? But penis! I mean, isn't it just gross?
Cosby Tom.
It should not be this controversial to have some dude dropping some dong in the movie. And there should not be this value placed on one part of a human body as if it's held up to a different standard. It's not that one is thinking of the children, or that there is a morality issue that's been plaguing you ever since your 7th grade health class, when you realize the book on the human body also has detailed diagrams of male genitalia. That is more of an issue of control, of a secular piece of thought. That has nothing to do with the precious safety of little Johnny's eyes, but more to do with what you see. These people that make up this whole argument, that this kind of display of nudity is rather pearl clutching, somehow I feel completely secure in saying that it's a safe bet that these are the same people that had no issue with all of the crass, degrading things that flew out of Trump's mouth, and probably even hooked up an earpiece magnified enough that it picks up bat sonar in some far-off European country and hooked it up to little Johnny's ears. I remember an episode of, yes, Designing Women, where Mary Jo was on a date with a rather progressive priest. And she was at a ball game when she recounted a situation where a male streaker ran through the field. And she was saying how the announcer stated, "You know, Bob, it's things like this that just ruin the game." And not even 2 minutes later, a busty woman wearing some kind of tank top giving out kisses went through the audience. And that same announcer said, "Hey, Bob, take a look at that double play." I think that applies here. Because what are we saying when we apply a much harsher rating to a movie that has male nudity rather than female nudity? Are we saying that a man's body is far more sacred? That there's this chastity device that's chained up to this safe lock that can only be undone by anyone or anything that it points to, because now it's the man's decision. Because obviously all the power goes to him. The grip of any capacity is now counted in gruff, manly measuring tape that is so fucking full of testosterone, a battle cry is required just to pull the tape out. This is Sparta! Look, it's not immoral for every single person to go nude. Rather, they be male or female. Just like how it's not shameful for a woman to go into porn, or for her to be considered prudish because she decides to not show as much or do as much. She's not a dehumanized device that should have varying values and considerations placed onto her that she should somehow psychically know, because it's oddly considered her responsibility to carve out any independence or thought out of her mind and make it this hollow, subservient space where she's supposed to dress up in silk parachute pants and a pink halter top for her eyes to give her master any wish she commands. Christ, even Barbara Eden took a day off once in a while. Why aren't all of these assumptions of property value? Yes, property, because that is what we are saying when we expect something to carry conflicting perspectives at the same time placed on men. I mean, do we really think that these men that are making these decisions are doing so because they consider their penis all that sacred? They've probably gone around dipping that thing into any crevice they want, and using that as a device of domination that extends from them like a sword in the stone. They want all of these demands placed on women while applying none to themselves. Tell me, boys, how is that glass house you're living in holding up? I think that the controversy and the shock of seeing a dude in all of his, well, everything, should be deflated. I think that we should live in a society where a swinging banana should be just as common, to a point where it's not that big of a deal. I think if the rather unimportant issue of nudity is exposed for the petty argument it is, that will give way to other issues. What would we be saying? What we would be saying is that women are not expected to carry the sole weight of sexuality. That eroticism is not only to be dressed up in gloss and high heels. That it's something that is as mysterious and seductive as the human narrative carried in the human body. that power is not something that is specifically masculine. That power is meant to be both held and relinquished. It's not something that should stay in one place. If it were, well, actually, we've already seen what happens if it's taken down and held and used and wielded as this dangerously sharp antagonistic weapon, barbed at the ends with scars that are seared wounds into our culture we are still trying to heal from. It's time to see what happens when power is treated not as something to be owned by one specific person or gender, but a shared responsibility to shape our culture rather than destroy it.
Wow. Why would you say? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I
Do
have
you
to.
see what's happening
I
visually?
have to say, I never watched it. I've never have watched a single episode of Game of Thrones, but from what I understand, there's a lot of male nudity on it.
Yes.
But every time they show, the penis, it's always it's never erect. They say they can't show it erect because it's non-threatening. If it's erect, then it's threatening. If it's not erect, then it's non-threatening, and that's how they get away with showing it.
Non-threatening,
Yes.
flaccid.
That's,
All right.
so-
We have Chris Cosby in the house.
Yes, welcome.
Yes, we saw. Welcome.
I love penises because they let fathers help make children.
Hell yeah. I am definitely pro-penis.
Pro penis.
It's a good
I'm
thing.
gonna
It is a good
march in
thing.
the penis pride parade.
Oh, right on.
I don't have one, but I fully support them.
That's what she said.
Oh, God.
Bless you.
And
That's what she says,
see, I
yeah.
say that because I'm the only girl here. God. Come on,
I
ladies.
know, it's
Join
sad.
in.
Goddess. Yeah.
Well, my orientation requires me to support them, so.
Okay. So Lost in Thought, we'll make our own 2-person penis pride parade. We'll just,
Close off all of Congress and then.
well, no. We'll just march in circles at the kick butt parking lot, holding up signs.
Sounds like an animated GIF.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does. Somebody needs to film it, and Ernie, you film it and turn it into a GIF.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Penis pride.
But no, but thanks for
2021.
joining, Chris. I assume are you calling here from Austin?
Yeah. Deep South Austin. Right over here at Slaughter and
Oh
Manchaca.
wow, yeah, you are down
Okay,
south.
that is deep south. That's almost Magic Jack territory.
Yeah,
isn't
we're
it?
up here on
Well-
West Branch and
Dessau.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. I like going up there. They got some cool places up there. Yeah.
See, thank you for saying that, because most Austinites would be like North Austin, and I'm like,
We're literally like on the border. Like our backyard is where the city limits is.
Oh, man. I'm like one lot over from that on the opposite end. Like, I guess 25 miles away or
Yeah.
something. Wow. Because they know we're encompassing the entire range. That's good. We're all together with it.
And we have Reggie Goodwin is from North Carolina, Greensboro, North Carolina, and Birdman 313 who's from H-Town, Houston, and Lane, and where are you, Lane? You're on a
Runberg and Dessau.
yeah, and of course,
I'm on Runford Lane. Lane is living on Lane.
and of course, Tom Moon. You're on the south side too, aren't you?
I'm deep south, just like Chris.
No. Tom Moon is from all over. He
I'm
is
an
from
astral
all over
alien.
Austin.
Astral alien.
Looking for signs of intelligent life on the planet.
As we celebrate the commencement of the Gemini season, hell yeah,
No.
It is our season.
yes. Wait, Chris, what's your sign?
Asparagus with steam rising.
That's
Okay,
great.
that
really
sounds
good.
delicious. My
My star
yeah,
sign is
my
Taurus.
daughter always makes
That's like a Family Feud. They're like, good answer. Yeah,
my
good answer.
my daughter, she's 15. She always makes like sautéed asparagus and garlic, and she makes it with a cream cheese, sun-dried tomato, and spinach stuffed salmon.
Ooh, that sounds great. Yeah, our folks from Norway love that stuff. Yeah, salmon and asparagus. That's good springtime
It
food.
is.
A little bit of dill and sour cream sauce. You know.
I hate it when I say, "Oh, I love asparagus," and people be like, "Aren't you worried about what your pee is gonna smell like?" I'm like, "Not particularly, no."
Only some people. There's something I read about that because in the physiology of it, only some people produce that smell, or only some people can detect it. Something like that. Yeah, because I can smell that. I kind of like it actually.
Essence of
Chris is a very fine poet, you know.
Chris hashtag I can smell when you eat asparagus. Okay, so
It's usually just when I eat it, but you know.
so Chris, do you have any works for us?
Sure. Yeah, I got one from God, not that long ago, the 16th. Because in my neighborhood, we've had a lot of. It's kind of in transition, sort of like Runberg. You know, it's they're starting to call it manslaughter actually, which makes me kind of want to move. Yeah, right. But I went for a walk on this gentle rain morning. I guess it was last weekend, the 16th, Friday. Yeah, and went over to the Taco Cabana and got myself some tacos, and then went and caught the bus and was just really digging this gentle rain after all this intense crap that's been going on around here, like illegal gambling rooms and people turning tricks and selling heroin and meth under the bridge and stuff. So this was like a relief from that, and me realizing what a beautiful place this is with the rain coming down and all the nice wildflowers and the open space here, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
So freshest breezes softly from the southeast. Here in Whistleduck Forest are ohana, which is Hawaiian for like your extended family. So loosely loves. So many facets to the shining smiles as they find what we are looking for, asylum. In the balance of life's pursuits, a young man greets me kindly as I enter the Taco Cabana. Knows what's freshest. All the love. I'm patient. He addresses me as boss. I think, this dude's probably been to prison. As I'm about to pay him, we exchange sirs. And he gives me a 20% senior discount.
See, that's what. All right, give it up for. Okay, you got to help me with your pronunciation of your last name.
How many cores are there in an apple?
1.
Corsby.
Corsby. Okay. All right, give it up for Chris Corsby joining us for the
Oh
first
yeah,
time.
oh yeah,
all
oh
the way
yeah.
from manslaughter.
See, that's what I worry about because just like when you say you got the senior citizen discount, is you're kind of like, thank you, but damn.
No, I accepted that. I'm happy to be senior, although I think I was too young to get it. I didn't call that to their attention, but they say children give you gray hairs, but marrying a lawyer can give you white hair. So I think that's what I was just grateful to share that respect,
Yeah.
Cool.
Kind of like the reverse of like when they don't card you anymore for buying alcohol. And you're like,
yeah.
in reverse.
Yeah, I work.
But it's good.
I work at Walgreens, and we have to card everybody. Yeah, we did get our TABC inspection with flying colors, but it pisses people off too bad. So I actually kind of came up with like a tagline when people go, "Are you serious?" I'm old, blah blah blah, and I'll say, "Sir, here at Walgreens, everyone's underage. ID, please." And they'll just like, because I actually snapped back on one guy. I'm so amazed I didn't get disciplined over this. He's like, "I'm old enough to be your daddy." And I was like, and I looked at his ID. I was like, "You start cranking out kids when you were 11?" And his wife just started giggling, and I was like, "Here you go." I love stuff like that. It's like, don't tense up about it. Hand me your ID. It'll be over in 2 seconds. Quicker than a shot. It's painless.
Some people just like to be confrontational.
So, yeah, really, 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 really.
I always say, so you're my new best friend when I get carded.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty, where'd Lost in Thought go?
I think he exploded.
Yeah, it's the hair.
It was the rice checks and his checks mix. It'll do that.
He should put up a sign like "Be right back." Oh, he muted his microphone.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe he's going.
That's pleasant.
Yeah, I know, right?
So okay, so are we going
Back to the beginning.
Yes, we are going back to the beginning, back to the Precambrian Paleolithic times, where Tom Moon is always with us, always takes care of us, always opens up the show. Give it up for Tom Moon Bird.
boots and pencil, 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 boots and pencil.
I like the unpredictability of being here at Spoken and Heard on Sunday nights. I like the jazz improvisations, the unexpected art of words, and the dance surprises that elevate all our energies. People who shine with you, intentional communities of an instant, like fish gleam silver thoughts. The preserving of history as in human beings, remembering, sharing South Austin stories, colors that have no other meaning than their intrinsic ebullience, antidotes to squares, rectangles, schools, prisons, talking ellipses, spirals, Fibonacci sequences, both Higgs and boson, and Schrodinger's cattails. And when you see the moon tonight and it changes, same with glittering, pulsing, beaming, historic stars, energies near waterfalls, fountains, rainforests, community radio on a conscious station, the way you turn your face when dreaming this, as if a cloud was calling your secret Sunday name. Antidotes to cities and gardens and sanctuaries, parks and wildlife, laughter and goodwill and community. Electric shock of the new as it Tai Chi pulsates through with whole body attentive. The golden sunshine morning moments, silver evening like this, stardust stars. Of course, there are no politics that can capture this bliss when beauty simply is, and poetry tries to capture it with the annotated Alice, the Bible according to Thomas Jefferson, Sharon Stewart's posted notations on her voluminous posthumous library, the Book of Kells. So I follow them. I scrawl messages to myself, underline, add asterisks, generally leave imprints where I animal traveled so that other hunters of the metaphorical possible might find clear tracks behind me. Some of you choose not to annotate your books. Susan Bright, Herman Nelson, John Barry did not. But I like books one has to read, then reread, then reread again. Same with poems like this one, with totems and icons, symbols and significance, koans for both now and later on. You know, it took 600 years for Rumi to be read by Americans in translation. That Victorian edition by Edward Fitzgerald in 1859 of the Rubaiyat is only known to us largely by this specific translator. To me, Arthur Waley disappointed with his Chinese poetry translations, but Gary Snyder's cold mountain versions ring like mountains in a still, chill Texas air. We rely upon Robert Bly for our Rumi, but Robert does not speak Farsi like Dylan Thomas did not speak Welsh. Failures in translating imagination do not stop Lamb's tales from Shakespeare becoming prose and prosaic. Your poetry has power and depth and magic and mystery and is worthy of pilgrimage every Sunday night. But poets, they're just buckets for the full moon.
Dun, 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 dun.
Thank y'all.
All righty, give it up for Tom Moonbird. Okay, lost in thought. Come on, man. I've been carrying this whole show by myself. Sit up, and sit up and do some shit.
I think I'm now starting to feel the effects of some effects of the COVID shot, where my arm is just a little bit sore now.
You'll
Where
get
I'm,
that soreness on the arm.
That's all I. Ibuprofen.
That's all I got is a sore arm.
I got my.
Okay, did you already take it?
No, not yet.
And he says his arm is sore and he hasn't taken it yet.
I mean, it's not like sore.
Huh?
It's not like sore.
Yeah, I know, but see, they actually say, you know, like especially like post-surgical, post-op pain, you need to take the medicine before you're out of the mind with pain.
Huh.
Yeah, you don't.
To kind of prevent it from getting.
Yeah, you don't want to wait till you're. Oh God! Take the medicine first.
See, that's when you gotta go. You gotta go to the morphine.
Yeah, that's when you're pressing the button for the morphine. The morphine, the better.
What is that military term? When they say can't feel a thing.
Can't feel a
Usually
thing.
after an injury or something, they is it because of the morphine?
Well, no, it's at that point it's usually because of the adrenaline. They haven't been treated
And
yet.
well, no, they'll ask them about how you doing, soldier, and I can't feel a thing. I heard that's like kind of like code for like something else. I don't know.
Like, help me, damn it. No, honestly, I haven't heard about that, Ernie B.
Birdman.
Yes, Birdman,
Yeah.
fly over here and give us some words.
Ladies and gentlemen, all
right.
the way from Houston Town, Texas, we have the one, the only author and poet, Birdman 313.
That was actually pretty good, Ernie B.
Okay. Since you mentioned birds, I'm going to read this one, Birds on a Wire. While sitting enjoying the evening sky outside, on the patio, my thoughts begin to roam. A wire stretches across the yard from the house to a light pole. Birds sometimes gather when they want to take a rest or to enjoy the scenery down below. The sky is blue and a cool breeze blows as a few birds begin singing and flying around. I smile as I welcome their warmth and joyful sounding songs. They walk the line like it's a tightrope. Each bird swoops down to join the others, but also watching for hawks and wild cats that may be hunting their next meal. As the evening comes to an end, they make way back to their nest for protection and rest. Sometimes I wish I was a bird, free to roam and fly anywhere.
Woo!
All right, with some
Yeah.
bird shit. That was Birdman
Yeah.
313.
Bird shit. Oh my
Right on,
And
god.
my next
Well,
one,
I'm sorry, you have another one.
my next one is Moments in a Dream. Miracles fall like raindrops from the heavens on this dry, thirsty land. You awaken in the morning after finally getting a decent night's sleep. You had a dream that couldn't be remembered on a road of uneasiness. There was a voice that spoke out about being unable to apologize for not remembering. What crossed your mind in your sleep during the night in the quiet moments? You will now travel a journey without knowing the distance or being familiar with what is about to form. Then you awaken with an unusual clear mind, feeling like a voice was speaking directly to you. It can be amazing, but as you look around, you realize no one is standing near. The sheets are soaked with sweat. The pillowcase is soaked with tears. The room begins to spin, then stops. You lay back down, trying to go back to sleep to catch up with the dream so you can remember what transpired and what is roaming through your mind. The sooner you lay back down, the sooner you may be able to capture that thought and dream. Now the words and visions that keep coming back are meaningless. The truth will always outweigh the reasoning, whether or not you agree or like the outcome. So do anything you choose to do. Let your mind run rapid. Nothing that is real can be threatened, and nothing that is unreal exists. Thank you.
All right, Birdman.
Birdman 313, all the way from
How
H
come we
Town,
all ended up-
Texas.
How come we all ended up in these rocks?
What was that?
You see, we're in these rocks. Are you all getting the same image? We're all
Yeah.
sitting in. How come we're in rock music?
Oh,
Our hosts have chosen our background and can also change our
Yeah,
position.
I always disable
Whoa.
when somebody does that because it messes me up over here.
Yeah.
But,
Okay, hey, Lost in Thought. Do you think maybe? Yeah, good. You got your ibuprofen. I was gonna ask you if you could introduce me because I have some old shit.
well, before he does that, I was going to address the issue that Tom's talking about.
Okay.
If you want to do away with that, up there on the top where it says grid view, you can select
Yeah.
speaker view, together mode, large grid, or whatever. If you want it to go back to normal, just go back to grid view, and it'll change it back to.
I don't like normal. No, I'm happy
he
to be
says he
weird.
doesn't like normal.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
AB normal.
Yeah. See, I have to keep it that way because
My blood group is
I
B
have
positive.
I have to keep it that way because the way I'm running things over here, and I go into my Streamlabs, it just throws everything off over here for me. So I just
No problem. No problem.
So
We look
what
weird.
brain did you get? Abby normal or something? Abnormal. So you're telling me I put an
We're joking about
abnormal
Young
brain
Frankenstein.
in a 300-pound gorilla? Sorry. I love Young Frankenstein.
Thank you,
welcome.
Hot
thanks for
Tamale.
blowing everybody's ears out.
Alrighty, so
Lost and thought was going to
Yes,
introduce
sir.
her.
Yeah. So
Oh, wait,
let's
you
hear
gotta
it
fit- you
for
gotta
Hot
fidget-
Tamale or Sis
wait,
who's
wait.
taking it.
You-
Who's taking it
You got to
old
fidget
school?
with your phone for
What?
like a half hour first. I'm sorry. Do it again. I'm sorry.
So let's hear it for Sis or Hot Tamale who's taking it old school.
Alrighty, I will give you the name of this poem after I read it, but guaranteed it is old shit.
Elementary.
Shit.
The sky is not falling. Don't be afraid to live. You are not Chicken Little. You have so much more to give. Be here now. Live for the second. Danger doesn't lurk around every corner, I reckon. I get on your case when you get down on yourself, drawing your anger in instead of leaving it on a shelf. Because truthfully, when I see darkness in you, it's the same shadows I see in me. You're like my mirror, my reflection of my insecurities. When I counsel you, the same counsel should bounce back to me. Live for the moment, seize the day. YOLO is what the kids say. The same fear that eats at you paralyzes me. I don't want you to go down the same road, you see. Live, little brother. Life is a priceless gift. You will win the battle fought. Don't live your entire life lost in thought.
Aww. Touching shit.
When you first started saying those when I first started hearing the words, I was like, okay, I know what piece this is. But I like it, of course, not only because it's about moi, but I also really like the piece.
Yeah, you like
But
the way
thank
I
you,
threw
sis.
in the Chicken Little part. The sky is falling. The sky
I
is
did.
falling.
Ah!
So I was Hot Tamale. I was walking to Spoken and Heard, and this woman looked at me, and I think she coughed. So, do you think I have COVID?
Oh, that makes you think of. So I took a ride share today, and the driver was not wearing a mask,
You know,
but I was wearing face mask and face shield, so I think I'm okay.
yeah, that's maybe he was vaccinated, he or she was vaccinated, but regardless, especially if you're in public service like that, you should wear a mask. I mean, it's not like you're getting a ride with your buddy. They're transporting people. Several people all day.
And you can
And of
still
course-
catch it. You may not die from it after you're vaccinated, but you can still catch it and transmit it.
Yeah, I'm just keeping my fingers crossed, hoping that face shield, face mask was enough to protect me. But yeah, she was like, I don't have. I mean, I have trouble breathing with it on. And it was like, that's the whole point of COVID, dear. It's like,
You want to breathe?
Try breathing with an intubator up your esophagus.
Yeah,
Or
that's
down
a
your
little harder to breathe.
Yes.
I try to avoid that.
Ernie B, you want to give us any bacon haikus?
No,
Come on, Ernie B. Ernie B.
I have to go over to my
Ernie
phone,
B.
push this button,
Ernie B.
go to my
Yeah, that's right. You're not a robot. You're not a
go to my
robot.
photos.
Yeah, because honestly, I think we've all gone about 3 times each. Come on, Ernie
Well, that's
B.
okay.
Rich.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Ernie B. Yay.
Woo!
Okay, I will pleasure
Yay.
you with some
Yay.
used shit.
Certified
you
used shit.
shit.
My bacon haikus. I love bacon, man. It's so crisp and yummy. Stacked on my burger.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you. Sizzling bacon. Smells so good in the kitchen. BLT sandwich.
Yeah.
Bacon is my friend. Bacon is not my lover. Could that be a sign?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Woo!
Could this be magic? Or could this just be bacon? Delicious bacon.
I think he was listening to Van Halen for that one.
Yeah. People love bacon. There should be a holiday, a bacon parade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Talking about bacon. Smell it in the air around. Man, I'm so hungry.
Huh.
Bacon has trapped. What? Oh, no. I think that was it.
Oh no, go on to the next one.
Bacon is greasy. Bacon is not good for you. Eat lots of bacon.
Mhm.
And that's all I got.
Woo!
Yeah,
All right,
Ernie
Ernie
B.
B and the Bacon Haikus.
That's very salty, Ernie.
It reminds me of this poem by Dr. Marvin Kimbrough, a young poet to old poet. The young poet says, Pappy, I notice you clap all them poets, but not all of them are so good. Why do you do that? Well, son, let me tell you. Some I clap because they're good, and some I clap because they're finished.
See, I would get the latter.
It's all right. Reggie's here.
Okay, lost in thought. Finish chewing and announce the next poet. I'm gonna go get a snack.
Are you eating on the air?
Apparently. Well, see, here's the
An
here's the
epiphyte.
thing. Here's the thing. When we're at Kick Butt, me and Lost in Thought, we usually get snacks from the bar. But now we're
Yep.
just basically getting snacks from a refrigerator because we're not at Kick Butt.
That's cool.
So,
That's
so
cool.
what I got, and it's a tasty treat, mind you. It's salted caramel ice cream. It's
Oh, yeah.
good.
Huh?
Okay.
Here comes your
Yeah, I know,
diabetes.
right? Lost in Thought. Take it away.
Okay.
So I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember who went next. Who went next?
Reggie's
But-
next.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm
Well, doctor, our next candidate. What prescription do you have for us next?
I'm gonna read some old shit from December 2020.
Ooh, nice. Here's Reggie Good with some
Before
old
time.
shit.
Ironically, 1 month to the day before the insurrection. So this one was called Damnatio Memoriae. Though Latin, it was not used by the ancient Romans. It first appeared in a dissertation written by a German scholar in 1689. Modernly, the term means oblivion, condemnation of memory. It means ridding yourself of the train wreck you collectively experienced. We've all been harassed and harangued in national trauma, corporately experiencing PTSD, moving on from the shell shock of 2016. His current griftomatic blender is putting us all through a mini puree as he refuses to concede. He's raising more money in defeat than he ever did running, which when he was supposedly trying to win it, which is why his consigliere, Michael Cohen, said he never meant it in 2016. He's following a script. Obama was born in Kenya, not America. The system is rigged against the poor little bizarro Richie Rich kid who's had a spoon shoved up his ass since birth when his father should have used a condom or his mother swallowed. Now it's send money now for the election defense fund that doesn't exist. We'd like to say that about Rudy Giuliani's flatulence. He's making the roof pay his bills during a pandemic. Neo-fiddled. He's tweeting and golfing. The Georgia rally for Purdue and Loeffler, I don't go out on a limb predicting it a complete disaster as he tip creation. The system is rigged against him. I didn't lose the 2020 election, vote for the Poobah and what's her name in the June 5th runoffs. After an hour and 45 minutes rift, he gave them 2 minutes. The same strategy really worked for Arizona's Martha McSally. After careers go down in flames and they rightly face legal hearings on selling their stocks after coronavirus briefings, investing in stay-at-home software for Zoom and Skype meetings, rather than briefing their Georgia constituents on what was coming, they want to be in the rehire line for doing absolutely nothing. Damnatio Memoriae, condemnation of memory of him personally. Do not forget his negligence during a pandemic. Do not forget his criminal malfeasance. Do not forget his violation of emoluments. Do not forget his to the Constitution. Do not forget stocks traded on tragedy to the enrichment of Purdue and Loeffler. Do not forget to vote them out in the January primary runoffs. Do not forget the 275,000 Americans that won't be with us this Hanukkah, Christmas, Yuletide, solstice. But Orange Satan, personally, forget him. Give the narcissist after November 20th at noon a fate worse than death. Condemn his vile memory to oblivion.
Yeah.
Kind of.
We're trying.
I was watching Birdman's reaction.
Insisting.
In the first part of that piece, I can't remember what you were saying. Something about a silver spoon shoved up his ass or something like that. And I was watching Birdman's reaction. He was like, "Oh, did he just say that?"
He said it.
I guess that's about eating shit. I don't know. Hey, do you know how life's like a shit sandwich? The more bread you got, the less shit you have to eat.
Yep.
You got to eat.
Yeah.
Looks like Chris is next.
Oh, well, and Tom, you mentioned our mutual friend Susan Bright, who passed away in 2008. Is it okay to read one of her poems?
That'd be wonderful. But by the way, they may not know that she was the editor of Plainview Press, a very powerful feminist, and she saved the trees around Barton Springs by helping the council get an old growth ordinance. If it's 28 inches round, then you got to save it in the ground. And the other day, I met the person still running Plainview Press, Pamela Knight. And it would be great to share Susan Bright with these wonderful people.
Yeah, she was a good friend of my mom's and a neighbor over in the Zilker neighborhood, and I used to work for her husband JC for a little while. He would like time how quickly I was using a spud bar to break up a sidewalk and tell me I had to keep up that pace the whole time.
Yep,
he's pretty tough. But then he passed away not long after she did. But they had a really good life together.
Yes, they did.
Can I share the screen here, host? Does that work with this? I don't know.
What?
Well, let's see. I'll try here. We'll see. Otherwise, I can.
Oh, that would be on your end, I think. Oh,
yeah, that's what I just tried to activate. Do y'all see anything?
yeah.
No, just us. Just see us.
Kind of.
Okay. Even if I do this, does that change what you see?
Oh yeah, we can see that now. Love in a World at War.
Yeah, so Orchid Time Lapse is so I guess Earth Family Alpha is the site that did this not long after she passed away unexpectedly. Love in a World at War. Oh, and I read in her biography that she was born the day after the fall of Nazi Germany in Ohio, to a father that was quite older. Love in a World at War. Astounding me this morning, time split like a lazy atom drifting across an emerald creek. To open my chaotic orchid being to the force of life again, the long, breathless passion of it rasping out of a first shriek, shuddering toward a distant, shimmering arc. I have my mother's hands, and these are father's words. The child who just leapt into water for the first time is part of me, and the grackle sipping at the water's edge. I am astonished by the long, threadbare tenacity of life, born of every kind of touching, and I wonder how human beings fall to battle, invent bombs to drop on hospitals, how at the height of annihilation, when we are numb from outrage, life asserts itself like rain. Peace blooms anywhere, and someone rests alongside a waterfall in a golden slant of light on an October afternoon, or dives into an emerald creek. Every instant contains every other one, and we float thick with awe across the fierce and holy face of time, so that when life radiates to every corner of our world, green and insistent, against the brute force of a world gone flat crazy, we know love is both possible and the essential fact in the quickening of time and mud we call home.
Well read. Wow. Really, Susan.
Okay,
Nice.
somebody.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Thanks, Chris.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for reminding me of her.
Thank you, Chris Corsby. Thank you.
Yeah.
That,
You're
that
very
was,
welcome,
That was really cool.
Tamale.
Bringing the poem up on the screen so we could kind of follow along.
Yeah, I think I only added one word and then a grackle call, but I got to do my thing.
Wait.
Hey, it's cool that you have your own touch. It's good to bring some uniqueness and awkwardness into some poetry. I should know.
I could see her smiling in my heart when I did it. She has such a beautiful smile. Hey, can I tell you a corny joke, Hot
Yeah,
Tamale?
sure, please.
Do y'all speak? Do some people here speak some Spanish? Maybe a little bit.
A little bit.
Un poquito.
Okay. What do you call a nosy jalapeno?
What?
Jalapeno business.
Nice.
Lost in thought. Do you have something to?
He did tell us it was going to be corny.
Yeah, well, yeah, you did give it. Okay, yeah, he gave us a
Ooh.
Prefaced it.
That's coming from the peanut gallery.
I'm kind of struggling with something over here on my end. I got
What's up? Ernie?
everyone's image looks fine, but for some reason, Lost in Thought and Tom Moon's image is like the same, like they're overlapped with each other, and I can't fix it.
They're
No, on my screen.
It's like Lost in Thought's top with Tom Moon's belly. Yeah, it's weird.
Whoa, that's scary.
You see it?
I see it.
Whoa.
Yeah, you guys can't-
It's like Lost in Thought shoulders.
Maybe if they turn off their.
Lost in Thought shoulders and Tom Moon's belly.
Yeah, it's weird.
And it looks like one person.
Maybe if y'all turn your cameras off and back on, it'll retrack or repopulate or whatever it does.
What's happening is because not only I got the Skype call happening, right, but I'm also taking it. Oh, see now that changed. I'm dumping it into OBS also because I'm using OBS
What's that?
software to broadcast out into onto YouTube and to Facebook. So I'm drawing the video feeds from Skype into that. It's complicated, trust me, but for some reason, Tom Moon and Lost in Thought's image got kind of caked together there, and
I can only see Tom, and then I see a sun background.
yeah, that's his
That's
his
right.
background. Yeah. Let's see what
So
what
my
you guys see on the Skype call isn't what's going out to the internet. It's I'm rebroadcasting at the same time.
So are you saying, Ernie, that I'm topping Tom?
Oh.
That's between you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go check out a book somewhere. There's probably a nice librarian. I mean,
Keep me out of that, man. Keep me out of that.
I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna leave it.
That's
Like
kinda-
that. I'm
that's kinda personal.
I'm gonna leave it like that. 'Cause now I'm getting used to you with Tom's belly.
oh, okay. Now, yeah. Wow, that's a trip.
Yeah. So is Lost in Thought got
Who's
thoughts,
next?
or
Well,
shall we
we
proceed
kinda-
around?
I was going to say, Reggie, your piece made me think of. So I watched this thing with Jen Psaki. I love Jen. I'm really loving Jen Psaki, at one of her press conferences, and one of the people were like, "What is your opinion on wealthy colleges indoctrinating the youth with un-American ideas?" And Jen Psaki was like, "Well, now you've intrigued me. What are these un-American ideas?" And of course, he couldn't come up with anything at all. I just loved her approach of like, Really? You don't say. Well, what are they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
You
That's
see,
it.
the
speaking.
interesting about Jen Psaki is that she is going to leave pretty soon.
What?
She is?
No. Why?
Be, because she has two little ones at home
Oh, okay. That's
and she wants to
understandable.
be there with them. And she doesn't want to miss any moments. That's what she explains. But part of the reason she's such an effective press secretary is because she's a mom. She's kind of mediating arguments all the time. So,
Yeah.
so she basically just mommed the dude, and he melted.
Yes.
Nice.
It's good to have a sharp mind in there too. We've had so many bimbos with under Trump, disposable dimbos.
I
But
understand about wanting to stay home with your kids because I remember when my son was when I was pregnant with my son, he's gonna be 21 in November. But I was going, oh no, I'm going back to work after he's born, not a question, whatever. And as soon as he was born, I was holding him in my arms and I was like, I don't know if I could leave him with anybody. And my ex was like, we'll work this out. You can stay home. I was like, okay, good. And so for 14 years, I was a stay at home mom. But the toughest, it
Bravo.
literally is the toughest job you'll ever love. You don't get days off. You're always on the clock. And it's just, I mean, like, I still remember sometimes I would just see the kids pass their dad to come to me. Mom, I'm like, what? Did your dad? No, I want you. What do you
Oh.
want?
So
okay.
I'm wondering, flying in over the sea, over the air, thoughts in the clouds. I wonder if Birdman has any thoughts.
Ah!
That's your segue?
Yes, that's my segue.
Okay. By the way,
Any thoughts
the
about
image
what?
fixes the image fixes itself. In case you guys are.
Yay!
Oh, you want me to read one?
Yes.
Oh,
That,
okay.
that,
No,
that's
that's
why I was
my-
like, "That's your
Yeah.
segue."
Yeah, that was his weird ass intro.
Yes, I'm like, okay. Oh, like I said, it's been raining here since last Sunday. Whew. And since it's raining, I'm gonna read this poem. It's titled "Let It Rain." Waking up to the early morning rain as it falls gently to the ground. No wind, no lightning, no thunder. Just let the rain fall until all the clouds are dry. Go outside and enjoy a walk through a garden in the rain. Let it wash all your troubles away. Feel it drizzle down on your head, face, and body. The rain is great for all living creatures, for drinking, wildlife, and for growing crops. But too much rain can result in loss of property or even death. Rain can be the giver and taker of life. You hear a hush. Look up. The sun is out. The rain clouds are gone. The rain is over. Thank you.
All right, give it up for
I
Birdman
got one.
313.
All right, Birdman.
I got one to
313.
follow him because he always talks about the rain in his computer. It's called Learning to Love Rain. Learning to love rain, its ephemeral nature. Light drips to torrential downpour. Rain is never just one element. It evaporates back into clouds, steams off in the hot sun post-storm, returns when we least expect. It blesses all crops and gardens, flourish with her gifted liquidities. Praise to the rain, which saves us from all horrid summer heat. Praise to blue skies before and after downpours, which enable us to wait for more rain relief. Hey, the rain, yeah.
There was
Yeah.
this band. I think it was Jackal. They had a song called "When Will It Rain." Can't take this heat no more. When will it rain? You know, it's like it was during like a a heat wave,
A drought.
And they wrote
Yeah.
that song "When Will It Rain." Can't take this heat
Well, the
no
Beatles
more.
Wait,
had
waiting for the monsoon.
when the rain comes, they run and hide their heads. They may as well be dead when the rain comes. When the rain comes. Beatles.
God bless the rain in Africa.
Yeah.
Did you know?
That's
Did you know?
right.
This is true. This is true. Someone set up in the desert somewhere in Africa somewhere, an iPod and some little self-powered speakers connected with a solar, solar panel, small solar panel, so it can recharge itself with Africa, the song "Africa" by Toto, on continuous loop. It's in the middle of the desert and it's playing forever. You can find it on Google
cool.
Earth and stuff, and it's there. And
Wow.
I don't know why they did it, but people are arguing there's no way those components are going to survive, very long out in the heat like that. I mean the wiring is going to it's going to get brittle and corrode and stuff, but it's like a 6-channel surround sound they got set up. I saw it. They have it out there, and it's dun 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 dun. It's just looping over and over.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's playing Africa over and over and over. See, I just sang that. Now we're gonna get hit with copyright.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, you will be.
Ernie.
I think that's a fair use act. Yeah, that's fair use act there. It's all covered.
Okay.
That was less than 10% of the work.
Now you're making me think of "Here Comes the Rain Again" by the Eurythmics.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
That's right. Rain songs. Wonderful.
maybe Edward
There's a
Satie.
song by a band called
No
My
Sin.
Mother Earth, called Rain Will Fall. Rain will fall. It's more of a heavier. It's cool.
Right.
I always think of, what is it? Natural Science by Rush. That first line, "The clouds prepare for battle."
The clouds prepare for a battle.
I always think of that first line.
We got 5 minutes, folks. Who's got stuff?
Well, I got one. I wonder if we can do this, man. That's so cool that you guys know how to use this technology so well.
No, we don't.
So let me see. Well, it's pretty cool. I hadn't seen this before. Yeah. So let's see if this works.
Ooh.
Oh,
let's
yeah.
let's see if we can hear it. Oh, maybe not.
Gorgeous pictures, though.
Oh yeah, my friend Omitava Sarkar made that one. He's incredible. Well, that's not going to work. Okay, there must be some way to mix the audio channels, but I don't know about that. So here, I'll read this other one. I have the backup plan here. Absorption pulls, and that's my little brother and I a long time ago at my grandmother's house, who was the poet of the family that I first met. So Indian, that's the house where my brother lives now. Absorption pulls, that which remains out of focus under close observation. The closest minute scrutiny brings a presence of mind blown beyond the liminal features. Let me see, was blown through lore born. Okay. Brings a presence of mind blown beyond the liminal features, stars gazing, shining on the galactic fringe, a sense of being flowered around. A stone in a river enjoying the ride, this conceptive pace of perception, gearing to the geologic eons pouring through its course with the simple grace of water, seeking, everly deepening, from the center expanding without words, exploring evermore. Indian. And that's dedicated to my younger brother, Dr. Benjamin Lance Cosby.
Wow. Cosby.
Great dedication.
That was gorgeous. Oh, I like the shark.
It was
Yeah, like father, like daughter.
nice.
Yeah.
There's also the advice that we should stay close to the rivers and lakes that we're used to.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. And don't trust waterfalls. Don't go chasing waterfalls. That's what it was.
I was
yeah.
about to start singing it, but I don't want to get whacked with copyright. So,
As long as you don't quote more than 10% of the work, it's covered under the Fair Use Act. That's my understanding. I had to learn about that one time for work.
Yeah, well,
so.
see, last week we had a three-hour show got pulled off of Facebook because we had 53 seconds of a copyright copywritten song. That's
How long was the song though? Was it more? Was it 10 times that?
how long?
We don't,
Oh yeah,
we don't know which song it
yeah,
was.
but it had to have been the entire song. But it wasn't the original song. It was a performer, covering the song. And what my understanding was, as long as it's not the original recording, and if it's a band doing a cover of the song, that's okay because it's not the original work.
Oh,
But
okay.
And he announced it as a cover, right?
But
I remember
Facebook
that.
yanked it, and it's still on YouTube. YouTube didn't spot it, but Facebook.
They may be unaware of that, of the educational purposes of the Fair Use Act. You might want to,
I can
send that to
dispute
them.
it.
And
See, they used to have like mute that portion of the of the show, not the entire show, but for some reason it didn't give me that option. It was either delete the video or dispute it.
well, they automate it. They can recognize any sounds. You know
it's all
about
on
that.
it. Yeah, there's not somebody literally sitting there listening to it, But yeah, but see, that says one of two things that the performer did such a good job of covering the song that the algorithm thought it was the original. So
Right.
that's what I'm thinking happened because last week we had two very good performers,
We did.
singers.
that did covers.
Yeah, and they were fantastic. The one guy did the Stevie Wonder, and the other girl, what did she sing?
Alicia Keys.
Did an Alicia Keys song,
She did Alicia
Yes.
Keys.
Remember
and
that.
they nailed it, both of them. So I'm thinking it was that, But again, it's still up on YouTube. YouTube hasn't said anything about it, so
Our time's up.
Yes, it is.
is it?
Yeah, it just
Yeah.
did.
We're just getting warmed up, man. What are you
No,
talking about?
no, you're getting warmed up.
See, technically,
What's-
we have 34 minutes because we started late. So I could use that logic.
What's the thing that Carol Burnett said? Like it's time to say goodbye or something like that at the end of her show.
Walt
I'm
Disney.
so glad we had this time
She
together.
would
Say
pull her
yes.
ear.
Yeah, she goes, so glad we shared this
Good
time together. Just to sing a song and a laugh or two. Shoot, I don't remember it.
Oh, but
I like Peter
Peter
Frampton's "Good Night."
Sleep time.
do you know the origin of Carol Burnett pulling on her ear? You know why she
No.
did that? I think she was kind of like sending. I think her grandmother was deaf, and she was like sending a signal like "I love you."
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
Cheap Trick used to have a song when they would start their concerts. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Hello there, ladies and gents. It's time for the show, or something like that. And they would start the song. They played the song, and then they would go into the concert. And then at the very end of the concert, good night now, ladies and gentlemen. They would finish it off the concert like that, which I thought was
Sounds
Oh,
Cool.
kind of like quote unquote.
yeah,
Got it.
pretty much.
yeah.
They're still they just released. If you like Cheap Trick, they just released a new record,
Wow.
and it's amazing. If you like Cheap Trick, it's got to be like one of the best albums they've ever recorded. Rick Nielsen, the guitar player, is like 72, and he still has it, man. They sound, and it's all the original lineup except for the drummer. Rick Nielsen's son is playing drums now, but it's all the original guys, and they're still doing it, man. It's a great sounding
Cool.
record. It sounds really good.
Says the guy from the Midwest who grew up on Cheap Trick.
Yeah, from the Midwest, when you're
Yeah.
born, they here's your baby, and here's your Frampton Comes Alive record. You know, they issue it at birth. So anyway,
All right, should we do the thing?
should we do the thing?
Ting.
Everyone looks kind of uninterested.
Yeah.
Uninterested.
I'm getting ready.
All
Oh,
right.
that's right. He's an hour ahead of us.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So
Oh yeah.
I forget.
Yes, so am I.
forgetting that. But yeah, Chris, thanks for joining us this evening.
Yes, thank you,
Oh,
Chris.
Thanks for the warm
Yeah,
welcome.
no, by all means.
Of course, yeah.
And
Oh,
And let's invite some more ladies here. This is nice.
and like I said, we usually do broadcast from Kick Butt. This was just kind of like a last minute. Oops, can't avoid it.
yeah,
And-
they didn't have anyone to work tonight, so we had to do it from home. So
And this is the way we had been broadcasting during the height of the quarantine
Cool.
when everything was just shuttered. We're like, nope, we're going to keep it on here.
yeah, we've done pretty much every weekend. I think we missed like 2-3 weekends when the lockdown first happened, and then we started doing
And
this,
then
right?
we started doing this.
Complete with technical
Yep.
errors and everything, but we just
Oh,
aired
yeah.
it. We there was times where there was this crazy echo, like this Pink Floyd crazy echo would happen, and we
Yep.
couldn't fix it, and
Robot
but we
voice.
would just leave it. It's live.
Yep.
So
Brave
Yeah.
tech.
Okay, should I do the thing?
let's
the
do the thing.
You have been witness to the best, the baddest open mic in the ATX. Spoken and heard live every Sunday night at Kick Butt Coffee Music and Boo. It's not just an open mic, it is a show, not a show without each and every one of you, including you, Chris. Thank you and good night.
Good night, everybody. See you next Sunday.
Yeah, we'll be back, hopefully back at Kick Butt.
Yeah, we'll be back definitely for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, good night, you guys.
Night,
Have a good week, everyone.
Yeah, get some rest, lost in thought from your shot.